Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. What's up, gang? How's it going? Oh my god, it's so good to be back. We're here, Aegis Executioner League, week 1, day 1. I'm Beautiful Crow, and finally, the stars have aligned, and I got Ice Fire.
It has been, you know, it's been crazy. We've kind of like crossed paths in different areas, not quite making it into the booth or into work together. Now it has finally arrived. I'm so excited for this, and we have a great matchup tonight that's just gonna really set us on a good standard.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Like I said, Aegis Executioner League, you know, the Diamond 4 Cap League. We're gonna be here every Thursday. Best of our ability to be on time, you know. We can only control so many things happening at once, but it's going to be really dope, you know, like we're just starting this. It's going to be really nice. We have group stage going all the way through. It's a whole 10 weeks, right? Like we're starting here.
Yeah.
10 weeks of grueling league action. It's going to be super nice. Qualifiers and playoffs later down the line. Fun matchup to start here that's going to be streamed. It's going to be between, I believe, Conduit Phoenix and the Shattered Spire, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the rosters right now.
Yes. And then on the side for Shattered Spire, we're gonna have Synthwave in the top lane, Wichita, Black Mask. What a name! Just all one word going on in the jungle. Eros in the mid lane, Boostus in bot lane, and Wanderer going down in support with the coach. Ayo Pinguini. But I do believe Shattered Spire does have a sub going. Yep. It's so interesting because, like, I mean, I have been paying attention to, of course, professional scene as well. Tier 2, whatever has been happening, you know, with an ACL about to start up soon. OQ starting soon, by the way. But in the top level competition with LTA and LCK and everything happening, like, the pros are playing so significantly different from how solo queue plays, and that is like the biggest thing, right? You're seeing kind of standard still with the tanks in the jungle, a lot of utility coming into jungle. Top lane is a variance, but there is. It does leave a lot of options open since they are playing in Fearless for champion pool. So it is interesting to see like how the meta is shaping up, because like they're not able to just default to what they were doing last year, you know, being able to pick something comfortable, some sort of carry top lane, and, you know, sort of you facilitating utility, tank, jungler, and then like whatever they can just slot in for the roles in mid, bot, and support. Now you actually have to have a bit more thought into what you're doing, because you have technically a plethora of options available, but your pool can get pinched and punished so heavily.
Yeah, it really is, and already we can see some targeted bans on both sides of the Rift. The Seraphine, the Lulu targeting that support, whereas we have the Mel taken off the table. So happy about that. Viego and Hwei. So a little bit of a spattering on the red side, but it's going to be a first pick Varus in the ADC for Conduit Phoenix. Very interesting pickup there to start things off.
Okay, yeah, so Varus is one of the marksmen that we have been seeing. I do know, shout out FBI and 100 Thieves, absolutely still loves playing lethality Varus. Still seems to be pretty popular, still does a damage. But also this pick from TSS, the MF, I was about to say, usually you're seeing one or other side of this matchup, right? Varus versus the Oak versus, you know, just these spamming, these more caster-oriented marksmen popping up between these two. And Cassante is still blind pickable, guys. He's still blind pickable.
We're still in Cassante gaming, and you know, that's just how that goes. Just a staple of the top lane. Gonna be countered by that Mordekaiser. I like the pick, but it's one of these that's very nuanced. You have to win lane as Mordekaiser to have any chance at holding this Cassante down later on in the match. So we'll have to see, especially in this top lane, how this Mordekaiser is able to manipulate the wave to put Cassante into some bad positions potentially, as this Varus is going to be teamed up with the Karma.
Okay.
I think we're looking at maybe a poke variant here with the poke bot lane, Karma Varus. I like that. It really adds a lot, especially going into that misfortune.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of like it's a very common for either of these two marksmen, actually. So the Karma's not only a good pick, but it's also good denial. Just giving that extra speed boost with the E, with the shield. On top of that, allowing them to reach in and recover in lane and in these team fights. Also, I mean, Karma Enchanted E, that mantra shield, is so pivotal in team fights, especially when you have like the juggernauts, like the Mordekaiser, who don't necessarily have an inherent dash or blink or travel ability to get into the fights and get on the lines. Being able to speed them up with that E, with that shield, with that speed boost shield, is so pivotal. And I mean, now TSS taking their sweet time, thinking.
So I'm getting some word that Draftlaw is having issues, and it's not. The links broke apparently, so they're resetting the draft right now. It's going to be all the same picks up to this point, but it's Draftlaw just being Draftlaw. What can we say, right? Except we're back.
We're so back in classic League of Legends fashion. We're so back. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting to be chatted. Let's give us a little bit of time to talk about Pinaholic subbing in here for TSS. I mean, he has been playing a lot of the top pick meta champions, like lots of games played on the Victor here that I'm seeing, and also the Aurora pickup, as well as the Corki. So
yeah, I mean, those are all really like lane powerful picks that can really show off and allow you to have a lot of power while also being able to help the team. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to utilize that, or if something else comes to mind for them outside of those top picks. Is draft is getting reset right now because it was having issues. Same picks, same bans as we saw before. Up until that red 3 pick, which, if I'm gonna guess, is probably the Nami that we saw shoved up into the ban phase, and they were chatting a little bit about it, so I'm guessing that's the Nami, so there'll be an MF Nami in the bot lane for TSS, and that will definitely be interesting to see that dynamic, because you're gonna get a lot of heals. That bubble could be massive, especially with the slow from the Make It Rain, but we'll have to see how the two supports really duel back and forth, because that's going to be a very support-oriented lane with those ADCs just looking to dish out that damage whenever they get the opportunity to.
It's going to be fun. They're going to be slugging back and forth, trying to get that. I believe it's the Voracious Auto.
Probably. Yeah.
And I mean, it's going to be so fun to see like how well they play out, because it's looking like a poke Varus scenario for CPX here. Just relying on that lethality, beautiful Q accuracy, get things done. To combat that, the Nami, pretty decent.
Yeah, no, I think that Nami will help a lot in the sustain battle that they're going to have to partake in, because anytime that you come up against a poke Varus, it's all about, 1, dodging the piercing arrow, and 2, if you can't dodge it, healing through it as much as possible. So
might as well heal.
Yep, and might as well, instead of having to use that summer spell, just bring a healer along that can actually heal an insane amount early. So Nami will be very useful for that, as there it is, that's what we guessed it was going to be. So far, and then there's the Corki ban. You were talking about the Corki. I think that's really smart to start targeting out that mid laner. You can already see Mel's heavy in the mid lane right now, along with that Hui. They're really targeting the mid laner of CPX, trying to force them onto something uncomfortable. And we have tops, ADCs, and supports taken. So we need jungles and mids. I think that's going to be a really key point, that those two are really going to have to play together here with the comps that we've seen drafted so far.
Right. Okay, so pinching more on that midpoint. There goes, yeah, getting rid of the victory. Now the bulk, I mean, they're gonna pop up. Maybe the Aura rises heavily in priority. They're in mid. Azir, Talia, Syndra, those are the next ones that come to mind as they back off the table best. That feels pretty targeted as well. Just making sure that Black Mass is not going to get his hands on that. Although, I mean, been indexing a lot more. 6 a lot lately, and the Hecarim as well to pop out of that. So it's actually going to be okay. The Amumu pickup. So yeah, like I said, tank junglers, you know, utility junglers, initiators are still the name of the game, and you're going to see that here as nice actual double 1-2 pickups with the Braum on top of that. But now this gives the onus on TSS here with that Wukong pick in the jungle. Now they're starting to play their game.
And with that Braum pickup, that means Karma's going to go into the mid lane, flexing that. So it's going to be Galio versus Karma in the mid lane, which means it's probably going to be an on-hit Varus versus this MF Nami. Wukong's going to have to really play aggressive around this bot lane to get MF ahead, because I don't like the MF Nami versus the Varus Braum by any means. That's going to be a very difficult lane to play into.
Yeah, I was like, we were hyping up. I was like, okay, cool, Varus Karma, we could do something with that, you know, it's very good against, you know, the MF and then the Nami. It's like, okay, should go even. But now, Varus Braum, very fun combination that me and some homies running that bot lane. You're right when you know, pointing out the fact that the Wukong is going to have a really good early game to help get this bot lane ahead. Because, like, come mid game, if that Varus is at 2 kills, maybe 3 even, like, if they go that ahead in lane, yeah, your objectives control is just not going to be there. I mean, like, look how this team is operating for CPX, right? With that mid Karma, so he's going to have more AP, a little juicier on the shield damage as well. It's kind of scary, but like the onus 100% on this Wukong from T to do massive damage early to get that heavy lifting up so I can even make it to a mid game.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with TSS's comp as well is there's only true 2 damage dealers in the Misfortune and the Wukong, so they're indexing heavily on playing around this Misfortune, getting her ahead for that those mid to late game fights. Where on the side of CPX, you have you know, Karma can dish out some, but you're really relying again on this Varus and this Mordekaiser to really take out the Misfortune. So it's gonna be on Cassante to remove the Mordekaiser, and Wukong to really play disruptor in this backline to make sure that Varus can't free hit, that Mordekaiser can't get to MF, and Karma, Braum, Amumu can't actually play around what they want to. This is very much playing heavily on TSS with their onus of execution to be a lot higher than that of CPX, it feels like.
This is so scary, because like I'm noting what both compositions want to do and like how they're setting their win conditions, like where their power spikes are going to be on it, and it's really scary, especially like once they hit the 6 mark for TSS. Like once those ultimate come online, this is not a team you want to try to team fight. I mean, you have the Wukong and both Cassante able to jump in and cause as much disruption as possible, and then you have the Galio who could either assist those jumping in or come back and play peel for the MF, for the non. That, I mean, heroic entrance is going to be so key in multiple factors. And I mean, on CPX, bro, I am one of as Vars Braum, like I said, very familiar with their game plan, how they want to do things. It's just really how well our Wanderer and how well our oh my goodness, forgetting the name, is blanking on me, Boostus. How well are they going to be able to operate like that? Like Braum is working overtime, blocking the bullet time, blocking the Nami bubbles, blocking the initiation, the knockup from Wukong. So much on CPX's plate right now, and I'm just like, bro, hey, y'all better strap in, because if they fall behind early, it's kind of donezo.
Yeah, I mean, very much so. You said it. I mean, the teams need to strap in, we need to strap in, so we're going to send to a quick break while we get our seatbelts ready to go for this, because it's going to be a wild roller coaster ride. We'll be right back with the game 1 between CPX and TSS. Don't touch those browsers, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
are back. We are onto the Rift for the game of the series. CPX versus TSS. Already jockeying for position in that river. CPX want to invade early. You're up against a... You don't want to do this level 1.
No, you don't. I mean, both sides really don't want to fight level 1. They don't have great level 1s. You know, depending on what Amumu started, bandage toss, but probably not. Probably the crying, the W. So that's going to be really rough, honestly, to do any sort of fighting. Only advantage that they had is they had, you know, Braum. But even then, I don't like anybody's chances in that. It'd turn out bad on all fronts.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, honestly, though, though there is a ancient saying that pros used to say. I believe it was Odd One that may have said this. Old TSS. You never skill an ability before your camp starts.
This is true.
They might have, you know, there's a world where he could just instantly bandit time.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, if you do make that fight, it's still really rough because, you know, you start bandage toss in the jungle.
Yeah, in the jungle that's not. That's not
as
fun.
a former Amumu player, that it's a painful experience.
Right. Okay. Looks like they will have their standard lane assignments, no invades. So I mean, like I said, we were talking about it in draft. The onus is 100% on Wichita Black Mass on this Wukong here to push the tempo for early game. Right? Wukong is going to have that faster presence in ganks early once, and like up to 3. So it's just like the way TSS have to watch the map and how CPX react to everything is big here.
It really is, and I mean, I'm already looking at this bot lane. MF has a good little push going, thanks to that Nami, and because Illicit Raven and Koopa weren't exactly there at the exact start of it, and they weren't able to arrest control like they need, but both hit level 2 without any crazy shenanigans, and I think that's going to be really important, because the longer they're able to postpone on both sides of the fighting, the better it is, and it is going to be on hit Varus because they did take lethal tempo. So that means you're going to look at a lot of short-range engagements from the side of CPX here. So
CPX, yeah.
I do like what Karma's doing with bullying the Galio. It's a Galio. Like, both of these comps have such low damage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Galio still can dish out a surprising amount of damage here. Like, especially once you get that like first item spike, I would say, and because Karma is squishy, she's not working with HP to begin with. But yeah, definitely the lower side of the spectrum for these mid laners. They are taking chunks out of each other's. They just run in full combo. It's that's a 30 to 40% of your health already gone.
Yeah, and with what these jungles look like, that is not quite kill pressure depending on where you are in the lane. But if you overextend any at all, that is very much a death sentence if you're not careful. So we'll have to see how they decide to fight it out. As Wukong's hovering in the Raptor pit, trying to see if they can't make a play over the wall potentially in that mid lane.
Well, Flash is still available for CPX and for the Karma in the mid lane. OTF chilling, not, you know, in too much worry, even if he does get jumped on. Double TPs on both sides, so it is, you know, about that macro, about that positioning. You know, I mean, Galio basically gets 2 TPs once he hits it with the heroic entrance as well. But man, yeah, just early on, about 5 minutes here, no bloodshed just yet. It really, both the teams are still getting that feel for each other, trying to, you know, formulate more game plans. I don't want to say playing nervous, playing scared just yet, because, you know, it is just very early showing. But neither team wants to make this mistake.
Yeah, first game of the season, everybody's just trying to play calm. They don't want to make that first mistake that could cost them the game, though. At this early, it shouldn't be costing you the game. But yeah, I understand the hesitancy behind it. As OTF is getting taken quite low. There's the bandage toss in onto Pinaholic. There's just no damage. They're whittling him down. Almost
down,
there.
walk him down. Okay, he's active. Oh, the flash over the wall, bro. Black Mass says, "No, we taking that," but gets caught in the tether. That's what I was talking about. The ability for Karma this early on, because no one has any damage yet. You can take a few hits and dip out. OTF did not even have to use their own flash, so that's a flash burned on the TSS side from the jungler, and nothing of value was lost from CPX.
Yeah, if anything, I think Karma actually gained health off of that, thanks to the empowered W. The empowered tether just, gets that healing. And it was like, oh, thank you for the extra health. Allows me to make sure I can walk out of here and, come back to lane with the TP and farm it out some more. And then in this top lane, super even. I'm not expecting really anything to happen here.
Yeah, they're just going to keep slapping each other, blah, blah, blah. It's cool. They're both 6. They have their ultimate. Think something would happen? No. And especially the fact that Synthwave has a oh god, what is the item? The not the null magic, but the one above it. I forget the name of that cloak, but he has Negatron cloak. I think it is
Negatron.
Yeah. Neg cloak. Yeah, he's not taking any damage.
No.
Shy right now. So once again, another skirmish in the mid lane is. It's just like a waving, saying hello. TF Nami. Dragon, though, is taken very low. Looks like they want to try and contest for this. TSS should be able to secure this, and yes, they will. And now the fight is on him. Here is the 6th, though. The hero first blood actually goes to Koopa, though, as he pipes out. Black Mass takes him down in a double for himself, too. TSS may get the first dragon, but the first 2 kills swing the way for CPX.
I think if you're CPX, you're perfectly fine with that. It's a Cloud Dragon. Yes, you want the first because of that, starting to stack the feats a bit. But, I mean, realistically, you got 2 of the 3 that you need for the kill feat. If I'm CPX, I'm not concerned about giving over that dragon right now. Would you like to have that dragon? Absolutely. But you reset now, you make sure your waves are in a good spot, and then you go for grubs here in just a few seconds. It's that kind of play that you have to make, and I think that they have a good comp to move for it, especially if they take Braum up there and they're able to hold this Cassante back, because that's a flash from the Amumu and a double Curse of the Sad Mummy. That's going to result in 1 kill and another flash out of Wanderer. That's a dead MF, and that's huge. That's 4 kills onto the Varus.
What? Okay. I was saying TSS really needs early game to swing their way, or else CPX can run away with this pretty easily. And you were saying, hey, if CPX doesn't get kills onto the Varus early, their composition really doesn't have any damage other than, the Varus and the Mordekaiser. 4 kills this early, bro? I think they have plenty of damage right now.
Yeah, and now I want to see them transfer that around the map, right? Like, we have grubs that are going to be coming up in a few minutes. We have Karma in the mid lane that can use a little bit of help to make sure she can get ahead of this Galio. Like, there's so many areas that you can start to really punish. I mean, or just run this MF down and just take this turret in front of her is another option for this CPX squad. We'll have to see what they decide to do, as they've already got the first set of grubs. I totally missed them getting the first set of grubs, I'll be honest, but I see it up in the scoreboard that they have the first 3, so they're feeling good. They still need, a dragon plus the other set, or the other set plus Herald to get that feat, but they're very well on their way with already 1 feat completed to having that early game power spike that all these teams would love to have.
Yep, so there's 1 feat left between the 2 teams, right? Because CPX did get that feat of combat. They did get those first 3 kills, so that is going over their way. But now it is up to, first tower or the next objective to see who gets it. So now it's a little bit of a scramble for that, as Synthwave is actually not having the best of time up here in the top lane.
Ooh.
Chai's doing a nice chunk. Speaking of chunks, Raven feeling pretty heavy, pretty happy with that trade. TSS need to get back in this early game. Down by 2k, sure, but you look at the inventory of Koopa right now, that's a scary picture.
That is a scary picture. With the Yuntal completed, you know that they are on a massive power spike, and they're looking to fight. You saw that they threw out the Chains of Corruption, seeing if they couldn't catch that Wukong out when they went in onto the Braum. Like, they are itching for a fight, and they are doing everything they can to make that fight happen. And also forcing this Cassante back is Chai to make sure that they're ready for this grub fight.
Yep, and once again indexing into more magic resist. As you see, getting that cloak on, but oh
Ooh.
no, he has to ice checking into a bush. Luckily, that flash had just come back off cooldown. Okay.
And that's going to severely hamper their ability to take grubs here. Varus is down on the bot side, doesn't have teleport, has real no way to get up unless they walk. Galio's walking now, does have that ultimate if they want to join the fight. Nation's going to get caught out here by the Wukong. Not quite where you want to be.
Okay, yeah, but they're throwing everything at him. He throws the move ultimate down. Curse the Sad Mummy doesn't do anything. We'll get that kill credit, but now the rest of CPX still in the mix. They're still winning the fight. TSS is scattered a little bit behind each other. They're backing up into this corner. You don't want to funnel into the line of sight of an MF. AP Greedy actually gets the kill credit there. Should have gone to Wanderer for another one, but that's 2 down from CPX, and they're on the run. TSS, they catch out an Asian, and they make all of CPX pay for it.
Yeah, I don't know why they funneled into that fight. You don't have your strongest member in Varus, so you can back off. You don't have to split the way you did. He got a lot on the bot side, don't get me wrong. You know, 2, maybe even 3 plates. He got 3 plates, so well on their way to getting that first turret feat, but losing out on that fight is detrimental as you gave a kill over to the Nami and it over to Wanderer, and then assist to everybody else. Of course, Wanderer has that Youmuu's Ghost Blade completed, so they have a little bit of that extra move speed, that lethality to help them out so much.
Yep.
Now all attention is on this dragon now, as we take a look at the topside fight here between Synthwave and Chai.
Man, see, Synthwave now, like I said, with that Spectre's Cowl, can take a lot more punishment, but Chai actually does so much drain with that new active. It's just so gross with how he's able to, you know, just literally drain taking through all of it. As the next dragon will be claimed 1 apiece from CPX and TSS, and now they want to fight again. Oh man, he's staying alive here. There's the Nami being thrown down. Asian falling once again. Wander a little too far forward. You're tethered. You're caught. You're done. And there's another kill answered back from CPX. 5-3 here. The rest of TSS have to run. Pigweedy, hey yo, dog, you ain't got nowhere to run. Bubble captures 1, but your health bar is gone. Koopa is unstoppable. 5-0-1 on this Varus. Absolutely disgusting. Get the dragon and a few kills back for making up for that earlier Grubs blunder.
Can we talk about that spacing from Koopa? Just so pixel perfect in dodging out on those bubbles to make sure they don't get caught out, and then being able to turn that once again. They were able to get Wanderer, and then they were able to keep pushing to then also pick up Ayo Penguini as well. I mean, beautiful play there by that to get caught a little bit, turn it around, look bad for a second. We said this was going to be a roller coaster. That's what it's going to look like all game long, because the damage is going to ebb and flow from these carries, and because there's only the 2 damage dealers on each of these compositions, it's really going to rely on their ability to space the other team, auto space, ability space, as well as orb walk around to make sure that they're outputting as much damage as possible, as consistently as possible.
Yep, and Pineholic, I mean, we had talked about it in the draft, right? The fact that this TSS composition, you have 3 bodies that are really good at going in. Dante, Wukong, and the Galio. Pineholic having to pick his spots correctly to use that Galio ultimate, and the past 2 times haven't been the best uses of it. It's felt more defensive, reactive than proactive, which is not necessarily what you want to do in this scenario when you are so behind. But like, again, Koopa with his positioning, with his ability, staying on the tail end of fights, laying in those charge queues, passive stacks on, in conjunction with the Illicit Raven. Like, CPX are playing these team fights so well. TSS have to rely a lot more on these ambushes to get the ball rolling back in their favor, as they are still only 2k down, but that lead can grow and balloon in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye on what Nasian does, because I think that's going to be a big difference. There's another good flash. It's going to be traded by Wanderer to avoid that, what is it? The bandage toss. But, I mean, overall, they're constantly forcing fights here. And what I would really like to see is, you know, putting this Varus back down bot to match the MF and to take this turret. You know, you want to get the feats of strength completed. As I don't know, Pine, if that's really where you want to be.
Pine? Is it a trap? I mean, it's a trap, but for whom? Cooper still gets the credit because now they can't even finish him. They just gave away a double that close. Oh my goodness. Oh no. I SS, but y'all are not there yet. You cannot be trying. That just gave 2 more kills over. This man is 7-0-1. Oh no.
Absolutely monster carrying the team right now. Wanderer's walking up, trying to make sure that things aren't going to be too bad for him, as Illicit Raven took a decent chunk of their health, but nothing too crazy. I mean, overall, they're looking good. They're just having, having to make sure that, that double up is really starting to hurt.
Yeah. Look, I'm telling you, Wanderer could totally turn this tail on its end. Just one fight is all they need. It's a matter of can TSS get there. But while we were talking about that and paying attention up to the top lane, TPX did get the first turret. It did fall in that bot lane. Tier 1 tower did fall, so that does mean they do get the those 2 out of 3 defeats, right?
Yeah, I think that they got the kill. They got 3 objectives. So yeah, that is feats completed for the side of CPX. You can see the boots have been upgraded. You can see that red outline on them for 4 of the 5. At least Varus hasn't gotten upgraded boots, so doesn't get that upgrade. But at least not completely. We'll have to wait till they get their second upgrade. But still, like, that's a huge bonus for them in these early game fights that they're already looking to punish the side of TSS with. And I love how they're moving together as a group of 4, making sure that if they're walking into dangerous territory, they have damage right behind them. As even Karma's dishing out a decent chunk of damage. Look at that.
Yep. And here's the go button from TSS trying to start this fight off. But look on the side here. Koopa is just firing, able to get all the damage down. A tiny piece into the fight. He gets himself a double. He's going for more. They're funneled right next to the blue pit. You cannot escape the fangs of CPX clamping down. They're going to take your arm, your leg, and everything else as they completely ace TSS in the fight. TSS started that fight. They could not finish it.
Clean ace, and I am sorry, OTF. I didn't know the magic that you were working with. Your Karma dishes out more than enough damage in order to be considered a damage dealer right now. I correct myself. You know more than me, OTF. Because they 1v4'd the back end of that fight to make sure that, or 1v3 to make sure that Pineaholic and Wichita Black Mass were alone against Koopa. And there was no extra damage coming in. Huge plays there by the Karma, by Illicit Raven on the Braum. And now they got the dragon. They're going to reset. They're going to get back out onto this map. They might lose a tower depending if they can get waves pushed fast enough on the side of TSS. But overall, for TSS right now, it's about turtling and making sure you don't give up more than you have to, because you are in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I just spoke about it a few moments ago. It's like, hey, yeah, CPX are only 2K ahead, but that lead can balloon out of control in a mere matter of moments, and that's exactly what happened. And it's hard for TSS to get back into this game because their comp is so heavy on them engaging, and like it feels like they're trying to get a pick, but also team engages as well. They have the damage to snipe someone out because Wanderer does do a significant amount of damage onto the squishy target. It's just a matter of them getting caught out while they're trying to spring a trap, and it's making, like, CPX is making them pay every single time because of it. You see that Pineaholic wants to go in with that Galio ult, get that multi-man knockup. He got a 3-man knockup in that last one next to Dragon. But it's just the fact that Wanderer was not in the position to pull off this wombo combo that they keep trying to get with the Wukong and the Galio and the MF and Pinguini with the Nami ultimate. I don't know if Illicit Raven had blocked most of that with Braum shield, but it's just a matter that the wombo combos are trying to set up, they're just not working.
No, it's too tanky from Illicit Raven. OTF has too much shielding and too much damage that if they ignore the Karma, they're gonna get blown up because of it. Synthwave wasn't able to get into the backline to kidnap, the Varus out and to kill them. So it was really unfortunate that there was just no backup for the two that went in. But now we have Chai and Synthwave 1v1ing in the Death Realm. Could go either way still, as OTF
So
and Pinaholic are now 1v1ing. Just everybody's wanting to 1v1 around the map right now.
Yeah, and this Karma, I'm telling you, does enough damage. Like, look, Pinaholic has to run away, limping a little bit. Now the cavalry has been called for TSS. They want to kill onto somebody. I believe Odyssey should be spawning here soon. So it looks like they are positioning up top side for that. It's just, what can TSS do realistically to take this from them? Like, this would be the swing they need to put some momentum back on their side.
Yeah. And it is going to be Voracious Otacon here on the top side. And you can see that's why there's 4 members with Karma having the TP on the bot side. And they're prepped and ready for it. They have to be careful. It's a very fine game you have to play, as it does shred your resistances. So it's very easy to lose a fight if you're not prepared for it.
It's already at half. It's less than half. Koopa does so much damage right now. They want to try to challenge, they want to go in, but no, it's going to go to CPX. So there's a boost for them in the fight. Synthwave, bro, you ate a little bit too much, and you're going to go down immediately. The grand entrance, the heroic entrance from like does nothing, was not even able to get off the ground because of Alyssa Raven, who sets up a bowling pin for an Asian to knock them down. Koopa is on fire, gets him another double. They get the Otacon, they get the kills, they get the turret, and they keep pushing forward. CPX are looking unstoppable here in game 1. TSS, you might as well /FF.
It's getting to that point. They still have the revive as well, so what I like to call the broken recall, because you just dive them.
Yeah.
See, I'd say just go dive them right now, because if it's only the MF, it's only Nami, like, you can dive them, take that turret as well, and okay, if you die, you have an immediate recall. Like, there's a cooldown on it. Like, if you don't use it, it's gone. It's not like you can use it to the end of the game, so might as well push your advantage while you have it. But alas, they chose not to. So they're gonna hold back a little bit, reset the map, prep for this dragon that's in 1 minute 38 seconds, and see if they can't win another fight and put another nail in the coffin, because there's only so many more nails that they need to put in these coffins before it is just game over for TSS.
Ice brother, look, the nails are already in the coffin. They're shipping them to the morgue now. They're shipping them to the crematorium. They're gonna burn them to a total crisp, as TSS has just not been able to get the fights they want. And like, even that last one in that Otacon fight, the heroic entrance was primed and ready, and gets canceled because Illicit Raven ulted that glacial fissure, stopping Pinaholic from jumping in. That might have saved Synthwave. That might have stopped that fight. Who knows? Either a bunch of hindsight, whatever happens. But it's just the fact that all these little combo ideas, all these setups that TSS have, CPX are denying them every single time because of the amount of amazing hard CC they have.
And Nation was able to get in the backline too, use the Curse of the Sad Mummy to also shut down the bullet time. So there was really no damage follow-up from anything that they were even thinking about throwing out. And just unfortunate things for them that now they are 11,500 gold behind and trying to make the best of it while losing pretty much everything on the map.
Everything is gone. They are back to their base. CPX literally had time to wait 30 seconds for this dragon, and it's gonna fall immediately, just disintegrate even. But man, it's just TSS, y'all better be looking at strats to regroup for game number 2, because this game number 1 feels all but done up. Just, you need to put the finishing touches on. It's gonna take not even a miracle, but a series of miracles from TSS to get back into this. About 11k gold lead here is they can't catch on with Raven. It is him and Chai. It's only the 2 big ones. They don't have their damage dealer there with them, so this could be a good catch. They're throwing everything out. That was the bullet time as well, but it just takes the exhaust because there's not enough damage from TSS to finish off 2 members of CPX.
And Chai didn't
Big
even
yikes.
flash. It was only only Illicit Raven flash, so Braum that's flashless is not that big of a deal. Chai still having their flash means that they can still get into the backline, still pull the MF, pull Synthwave into the death realm without issue in order to open up the avenues of fight for Varus. So, I mean, they threw bullet time, they threw the Wukong ultimate, and only a flash and an exhaust. Like, I would feel very defeated if I was on TSS that we couldn't even kill off the support, the weakest member of the team. We threw everything and the kitchen sink at them, and they still didn't die. And now they're even stronger than before, where for Baron just spawned at the 25-minute mark. That's how, you know, long this game has been going on. It's just Baron's just now spawning. It feels like it should have spawned ages ago with how far ahead they are. 16-3, an almost 12,000 gold lead. It's not, this Baron isn't even being contested.
That's insanity. Yeah, they're just two-manning it. Literally, they're that far ahead that they have the ability to two-man. Now Chai's gonna get that Baron buff in the bot lane. Synthwave is gonna be there to try to match. I mean, he can get a little bit of damage. You can just heal it back up. Look, heal it. That was gross.
Just Mordekaiser things. Just Mordekaiser things.
They have near 500 HP heal from the shield. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's how far ahead CPX is at this point. Yeah. I mean, TSS looking kind of belly up at this point. You gotta be discussing, bro. Like, hey, what do we do to get number 2 so that this does not happen again? Because
I think they need to visit draft.
Minutes, dude, yeah. First 5 minutes. I mean, that's the craziest part. Like, this draft wasn't terrible. It's just the fact that they weren't able to do it. Just 5 to 6 minutes up.
The empowered Q did half of MF's health bar in one shot. That's insane.
Oh, jeez.
They almost have mid inhib turret. They're looking to get bot inhib right now with Chai in a 4-1 split. And this Karma's just pelting them with empowered Qs over the wall. There is just nothing that they're able to do right now. Middle inhib is now under siege. It's going to drop. They're just going to be able to swing to bot side as Chai is trying to escape that of Synthwave right now, using everything plus the all-out to get him under tower, and it doesn't matter because the tower still falls. They can focus bot inhib. They can go top. They have a wave top. They're going to opt for top. They're just feeling good right now. Chai's going to TP back bot side to keep the pressure up there. Make the choices have to be made from TSS. And overall, this is a good look from CPX on how to close a game cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, they're, you know, crossing their T's, dotting their I's, you know, making everything official and whatnot. They don't have to. They want to because they can. I mean, it looks like 3 members going to be sitting here towards Chai. Synthwave still staying alive. They are chasing onto him. Looks like Chai will actually fall here. Yeah, they do flash roll him. So, hey, TSS gets something here. That's a reasonable size shutdown bounty going the way of Wanderer, who gets caught immediately. Oh, my God. Absolutely disgusting how much damage CPX is able to pump out right now. Koopa hits legendary. Still unkilled is OTF, Koopa, and Illicit Raven, and that's going to be 3 members down. It's just Black Mass and Pinguini left to watch the base fall. I don't think they can really do too much, Ice. And
no, I mean, Koopa's getting low. Are they actually going to lose? Nope. Nope. Koopa's going to be 14-0-2, a perfect KDA from this Varus. 15-0-2 as the game is closed out in favor of CPX in a dominating start to their season. I don't think we could have asked for a stronger start to the season. Just well played to CPX in game 1, absolutely shutting out TSS, didn't give them a single opportunity to even make a play. It felt like they got, you know, that one dragon, and then it all just collapsed from there.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a series of mechanical misplays, I do feel, because like there was the weird timings on the flash from the jungler on the Wukong, jumping in, trying to make something happen. which saw Black Mass, was not really able to do anything on this Wukong. And I've said multiple times, early game wise, y'all are going to need this to get position going. He wasn't able to affect mid lane or bot lane.
Yeah. And it looks like, before we go into break, I did just see that we are going to be on the same sides as TSS has selected to stay on the red side, feeling like they can hopefully make something happen with that and send it off with some counter picks to force a game 3 potentially.
Okay, hey, they're saying, nah, we got this, we can do this. It was a little bit of a mess up, we can go next. But yeah, okay, cool. We're gonna send it a break. We'll be back. Get your snacks, get your drinks, tell your friends that aren't watching to start watching, because game 2 for AEL week 1. Oh, sorry, I got trains. We'll be right back after this break.
日本にはまだある？
急がないと在庫があるのはそこだ。遅かった。そうそのフィギュアを一つだけ譲ってくれんやろか。
お前はんだよ、同志じゃねえか。もちろん取引しようや。
ありがとう、全マーケット。
Welcome back, Aegis fans. We're back. Told you that long. Am I a liar? But we're gonna get straight into draft for game number X. And look who's joined us on the desk now. I got Turk.
It's me. Hi. I'm back. I missed game 1. I was taking a little nap there. I was telling the boys in behind there on the back end that I took a little nap. Hit the snooze button, felt way too good, but I'm glad that Icefire covered me. So he's a beast. I appreciate that. As we get right into the draft here, I'm excited, man. I hope you're ready to rock here. Game 1 to me seemed like a bit of a shellacking there. I had a chance to tune in right around the mid game, but at that point it seemed like Koopa on the Varus just absolutely tore things up. So that was their B1 here. I'm curious to see what they're going to end up doing here as we see these bans coming through quite fast, especially with that Olaf. That one's very interesting to me, but we'll see how things go. So how are you feeling here for this game 2?
I'm feeling pretty optimistic. I feel like TSS, since they are, wanting to stick on, or CPX rather, sticking on blue side, TSS sticking on red side, feeling like it was just a few small things that really messed them up. It was a few things. It wasn't like they were getting completely blasted off of just pure skill. It was decision making. And one thing to note though, these bans super similar to what ban for ban, just exactly the same in this round 1. Yeah, well, except for the Olaf and the Lulu, but it's just interestingly enough, TSS are going to be the ones to snatch.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, very interesting too. That Karma pick also going to be a flex, so you have that maneuverability with it, but obviously that tried and true, the Amumu, lock that in for sure. Take away the Varus as well. That ban makes a lot of sense to me. CPX is just going to opt to take that Corki once again. That's another flex. You can index that into mid or into bot, so we'll see where that goes. But so far, very, very patient here with the options. We can see the TK being locked too. It's a little early on. Once again, that's another flex. There's a lot of questions that I have right now. Where's everything going? And of course, both teams are wondering the same thing as we do see the Zinzao locked.
Okay, all right, I'm with it.
Yeah, that's I like
cool.
it too.
Yeah, this is a little bit more dipping into the pool of the Tom Kinch and Zen both new popping in. So I'm very interested to see on how they want to run this, because TSS, like I said, it was the early game, that first 5-6 minute mark, active with their very all-in, dive-heavy team fight damage composition, where CPX, on the other hand, were able to sit back and just to control, basically wrangle these raging bulls coming at them. Success coming up with a very magic-heavy composition here. The Karma, the Amumu, and now the Swain, but they want all of the control.
I was just thinking that myself, and I don't know if CPX happens to play as Silas here, but come phase 2, that could be a B4, B5 with the Amumu R and with that Swain R. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come out, so we'll see if they've got that flexibility in their draft themselves here. But as you mentioned, yeah, very, very heavy phase 1 AP focused TSS team here, and I did actually have the chance to cast these guys here last week, and they pulled off a really good series. It was versus the Literal Monkeys, and they did a really good job with that. I believe that they ended up 2-0ing, so I know that this team is really strong here. I know that they could draft quite well too here. I'm curious to see how they're going to round out this draft, especially in that phase 2 when you take that red side for game 2 as well. Of course, you're really, really highlighting those counter picks, especially in those solo lanes, so we'll see what they do here. But to me right now, yeah, that phase 1, as you mentioned, just very, very heavy AP, so we're gonna need to see them index a little bit away from that.
Yep, and CPX, they're getting everything they want in this draft. Apparently, if Koopa's not playing the Varus, he's been playing a decent amount of both of those two champions. Reasonable win rate with both.
Wow.
Nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give me more AP. Yeah, lock it. Just lock it.
Wait a minute. Okay, there's Silas. Okay, we were talking about that. The Silas on CPX. Go ahead and grab that in to the next AP threat of Ari for TSS. This is interesting because now it's all AD carry city. Like if TSS, they have to go heavily into that, like just pure AD, pure crit scaling type marksman, or else like they're not going to. I mean, CPX doesn't have a really tanky composition. Tom Kitch can't eat a lot of damage, but it's not like he's not, this indomitable wall like he used to be. Love to.
Yeah, that's it, right? he's gotten so many nerfs over the years, and they've really tried to target that solo lane Tahm Kench. Of course, we know that that's going to be that support Tahm Kench now with that Ornlock coming through here. That Swain, to me, I mean, that Swain's still the only flex. I mean, I guess Karma could go top 2, so my guess is that Swain's probably going bot, I think, at this point. I don't quite know, and I'm not so sure that CPX knows that either, but this R5 here in about 5 seconds, we'll see exactly how this team comp's going to round out. But from CPX's team comp, for what I see, like, that is like a stock standard draft. Looks really strong. It's a good front to back. You have a high agency jungler when it comes to that early game and that Xin. It looks like we are going to get that R5 Camille. So if that R5 pick comes through, I like that a lot, because that is that direct counter pick into that Ornn, gives you that split pushing viability. The other 4 picks beforehand, those are the kinds of ones that I'm curious about, because it looks to me like CPX can really just start stacking those Merc Treads. It can become really tricky for TSS to do that damage, but of course it always does come down to execution.
I mean, and this is just an excuse to build early Spectre's Cowl.
Yeah.
For it, literally 4 out of the 5 members on.
Yep.
This is very, very interesting to opt into a traditional marksman for this bot lane for the pick. I mean, Camille, if she gets, you know, those first 2 kills, she could become quite the problem. But for a full round of composition, very, very damage as early is just not really there.
Yeah, I completely agree. In isolation, that bot lane that TSS has drafted should outclass that CPX bot lane. You do, like, Swain does really well in champions that are low range, and of course Corki, especially pre-6, is going to have that trouble with it. So in theory, that Swain, that Karma can do a lot of damage when it comes to the CPX bot lane early on, so I'm interested to see how that'll match out. Mid to me seems like more of a skill matchup. Sylas and Ahri, that those two going head to head is as old as time itself, it feels like, at this point. And then, yeah, as you highlighted too, right, that Camille, if she gets 1, 2, 3 kills, you know you're going to be in a lot of trouble when it comes to the side lanes. So I think no matter what, the onus is going to be on CPX here to group up. They're going to need to play around their Xin early on. Looks to me like they have a pretty strong 2v2 mid, so we'll see if they're able to focus around that. Of course, I don't quite know where they're going to be focusing here, but to me that rings true. But yeah, we'll have to see exactly how things go. TSS drafted a very heavy magic damage team comp, which can easily be countered by the Merc Treads. CPX also drafted a lot of frontline to be able to index into that even more. So we'll see if TSS can actually be able to pull this off. I know that these guys are a good team, so I'm looking forward to this game too. And I don't think it'll be indicative of game 1 by any means.
Absolutely, it's going to be fun to see how they be scrapping and fighting and throwing them bows. I'm ready to. I mean, that's going to be super dope. I just worry for TSS that they, you know, stumble a little bit out of the gate early, because CPX, they did show last game that if you mess up around them 1 time, they're going to take all your lunch money. Like, you are not surviving through the day. It's actually gross. So CPX, the ball is in their court, just to not mess up, keep playing. They can get there.
Yeah, that's it. And of course, as we round this draft out now, it's going to come down to that execution. The game 1 jitters are out of the way. Consider them done. Your first game of the season gone, just like that. Game 2, focus on this now. And of course, this is what all these teams practice for when they do those scrims. 3 blocks, 5 blocks if you happen to have a lot of dedication. So we'll see if TSS can go the distance here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we get that all queued up, of course, just chilling, vibing, ready to rock. Do we want to send it to a break screen, or yap a little bit more?
Oh, I can yap all day.
Yeah,
you can't shut me up.
Absolutely, we're professional yappers in this. No,
I'm paid to yap.
I'm seriously so excited, because like I said, TSS did not bad. It was interesting to see how, you know, they did stumble a bit. Like, their composition was set up for success, right? Cassante, Wukong, Galio doing just the dive thing when you have MF nominated. Unfortunately, Koopa is really damn good at positioning.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it, didn't it, man? It seemed like it, because I agree with you. You look at TSS team comp from game 1, like, you have a really solid team. You have the Cassante, you have the MF Nami, a strong bot lane, you have the Wukong, and you have the Galio. That is a strong team comp. And to go down the way that they did in game 1, not exactly ideal.
Yeah, Koopa and Raven were joined at the hip, and now I'm trying to see how differently they're going to play in this game, because, I mean, Tahm Kench Corki, right? It plays significantly different. Varus, bro. Like, that is a completely night and day gameplay style for the both of them. And so that's another thing. Like I was watching the bot heavily in game number 1. Oh wow, these two know how to around each other very, very right next to each other. For this one, you know, you have a little bit more agency as a Corki, and you have a lot more agency as a top. I'm really wondering like what there's gonna be, you know, like it's very much like what is the new game plan here. So we're gonna see squad here in game number 2, and like I said, I'm excited to get into it. Got word they're preparing their loadout, ready to go. Turk, final thoughts on this composition?
TSS has drafted them a team comp that excels in team fights. They excel around neutral objectives. If they're able to get the setup first, I have a good feeling that they're able to hold off CPX, and if CPX tries to close that gap, then they can be in a lot of trouble. That's where that Swain can really take effect. That's where that Amumu can do the same thing. If you have those Camille flanks, again, you have that option to split push if you want, but if you have those Camille flanks, a less standard front to back and a more of flanking style in general is probably going to favor them. So when it comes down to it, I think their neutral objectives can be really strong. I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to round things out with their team comp when it comes to sieging, because they don't have a traditional marksman at all. That's going to be a big problem for them, I think. So they might need to get 2, 3, 4 kills before they could really start to siege on those turrets. That's one of my guesses. I also know that when it comes down to it, their neutral barons and their neutral dragons, they're going to be slow to take for a while. So I really do think the onus is going to be on TSS to win those team fights decisively. If they're able to clean that up, then I think neutrals will come and I think turrets will come. But if not, I think they're going to have a lot of problems in this game here myself there, Mr. Crow.
I concur on all counts, good sir. Well, that's enough yapping for us for a moment. Just a break though, of course. Got to shout out Zen Market, of course, our wonderful sponsors for this beautiful Aegis League. I mean, dude, they're dope. I love whenever we're talking behind the scenes giveaway. But I mean, of course, you gotta go through it, you know? Have you ever had a problem longing for special Japanese item, but you can't find it locally? Well, we do have that solution. We got it for you. Zen Market is your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 shops partnered in Japan, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. They'll even consolidate all your items into one box and ship it internationally. Together, one package. That's crazy. They'll provide excellent customer service. 19 trust for 2 million users worldwide. Check the panel below the stream or click the link in the chat to try them out now. If you sign up with Aegis, you actually get $1,000 off your first international ship. So that's Zen Market for you guys. Go ahead, look them up, try them out. Use that promo code Aegis, $1,000 off. That's pretty nice. But that's enough yapping for now. We're gonna throw it to a little break screen, and when we come back, we'll be in the thick of it for game number 2 between CPX and TSS. Let's get it.
See you soon.
And just like that, we are back. Game number 2 between CPX and TSS here. It's AEL week 1. We got Crow and Turk on the cast, ready to rock, just like these teams are ready to rumble.
I think they are. You can tell this already, right? We got some level 1 shenanigans for sure. We're going to see a face check here, and this is anybody's call at this point, mister.
Okay, yeah, they're actually going to go in. There's the bandage toss to connect. They don't want a charm landing on it, too. Going to empower that W. Goes back in for the second bandage toss. That tongue lashing, though. Ooh, takes Black Mass very, very low. Manages to survive, though. Were any sums blown in that?
One flash.
Okay, I see one flash from Black Mask and the ignite from Illicit Raven. Okay.
One flash?
Minimal
casualties. You could have ran that like 100 times through a simulation, and I don't think it ever would have ended up like that. I'm so surprised that nobody went down.
Nobody died!
I'm so surprised. Whenever you see those level 1 shenanigans, you can almost always assume that somebody's going to go down. Now, the important thing right now, in this case, it was only the one flash, but usually when you see something that freakish happening level 1, you want to do your damnedest to track those sums. In this instance, I'm curious to see if CPX actually recognized that Amumu did burn his flash, because that obviously gives that option for that Sin to really look to invade. We'll see if that ends up playing true or not. I think the Amumu might have also, don't quote me on this, but he might have taken the bandage toss, which can really slow down his clear at level 1. He's going to be in quite a bit of trouble there. He's going to definitely be behind, so that could be a huge index here, as we do see the charm.
Yeah, I mean, Black Mask started Q on Amumu, started the bandage toss, and then Pine started charm on Ari. So not the most optimal, spells to start for either of them going into their clears, going into their lanes, but now they have to make it work the best they can. As TSS gambled a decent amount, but they're getting off of it as Synthwave here goes to the flash Q auto. He does get it. First blood TSS.
That's exactly what they needed. Synthwave coming up big, already indexed. You can actually see that first item pick, as we do see the W coming in from Illicit Raven, not quite connecting, but the extended trade's definitely there.
Okay, I mean, yeah, like this is already night and day from game number 1. TSS were looking scared to try to do anything in the first 5-6 minutes of game number 1, and TSS here, they're being proactive as all hell out the gate. Managed to get that first blood, managed to get that summoner burn, ignite in that level 1 invade attempt.
Here we go.
The ball rolling.
He's in invading here. He has that jump. No flash on the Amumu.
Yeah, he's done.
Looks like they were tracking. That's very smart by them. That's huge to be able to get that back now, and the tempo slowed down so much. Beautiful charm from
he can go back in. He can go back in. He does have the flash available, but so does OTF. Flash for flash. Q just barely misses. Ooh, but now here is Nation, who did stick around, so preventing any sort of wraparound rego by Pine to try to finish off that kill. But man, what a frantic, just a 1 minute, all that popped off.
So much here, and of course you see in this top side once again this counter pick coming true for sure. One thing to take note, we do see that tier start on Chai with the Ornn. That's something that I'm not used to seeing, especially in this matchup. You probably want to go something like that Doran Shield. That would be my thoughts, but Synthwave definitely taking full advantage of that here. Once again, we do see Nation. He has the rest of his bot side to clear, so he's definitely ahead in tempo. The Amumu not going to be spotted here.
Okay, gets caught in again. Chai's not having a fun time. Oh man, flashes for it. Uses the charge as well in the Q. He's a little W rather. He's not unstoppable. Synthwave, hold on, man. Playing a little too antsy. I know it's not tank v tank matchup like game number 1, but you can't just be playing willy nilly.
That's a couple turret shots. Turret shots hurt. Very close. I think if he didn't pop that bot, he could have been he actually might have been able to die from those minions. So, I mean, you're playing on the on a game of edges, really, Razor's Edge, really. So, not too surprised to see that nobody went down on that top side, but it was close. It was very close, Crow. And I mean, as fast-paced as this game early has been, starting to slow down a little bit towards this 5-minute mark, when of course both of those neutrals are up. We see Nation, he's focusing a lot towards the spot side, does have that option to invade on that crop right now, which it looks like
charm.
Wow.
What? Still doesn't get the better of that trade. Man, Electrocute not activating either. Like you had mentioned, yeah, Nation positioning more towards that bot side, prioritizing that dragon, making sure that TSS's bot lane still pushed in as Oh no, Wichita, Black Mass, jumping in again. He's only level 4. There's no flash. There's no all the Forge God. He's not getting out of this one, and Synthwave gets himself another.
He does. That's actually a really, really good repeat gank there coming in from that Amumu. Recognizes that we got the flash with that first gank. We send it back, get that second. That's awesome for him. He's able to grab that. Still has that topside Raptor camp to be able to clear. So, I mean, Black Mass has done a good enough job here. OTF fishing there has done a good enough job though, being able to claw back into this game a little bit, still keeping up on that CS department with that Zin, and that's exactly what you want to see, especially taking that Bandage Toss level 1. So as much action as we've seen, it has slowed down, but it looks like both of these teams are just ready to keep going at it. Of course, that win con in that split push with that Camille is most certainly alive. We're sitting at that 2-0 mark. You and I both highlighted that, and that draft phase, this is where things start to become tricky. As soon as that first item's completed from that Camille, you, as the Ornn, cannot do a damn thing trying to match. So your best bet is to try to group up, force those fights when you have those timers. The question is, does TSS give you those timers?
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, another night and day scenario compared to game number 1. Is listen, Raven wants to do a little bit mosey on up, a little journeyman up to the top lane to provide some aid to Chai. I mean, Synthwave was on the Cassante last game number 1, locked in a 1v1 Eternity duel with Chai, who's on Mordekaiser, and Synthwave had no effect early at all. That couldn't even translate into the mid game with that Cassante pick, and now here 2 kills up this early on the Camille is poised to do some more damage around the map, maybe get a nice teleport play in somewhere early. Pine actually looking to lure OTF in, doesn't really fall for the bait. Another member as well, yeah, Pinguini is going to be there. Mighty senses from OTF tingling a little bit, throwing down that ward as Nation on the objective game, on key, grabbing the grubs for CPX.
Yeah, of course, that's both neutrals now. So the chain does hit, forcing the RER. That's really nice there from OTF. Of course, you as a Silas can always take that yourself, so that gap close is most certainly there. Pineaholic still doesn't have that flash, so once those alt charges come through there, don't be surprised. OTF and Nation, once again, they look to try to make some sort of a play mid, but as you mentioned there, yeah, I mean, this Camille paying dividends. It seems like on red side, that R5 pick looks like it's coming true for sure. Give it a little bit of time. You're absolutely there. You're online. OTF fishing once again.
Yep. Throws out the charm. The flash is not up and available for Pine, and this time he will not survive. He got out thrice before, but not on the 4th try. That's going to equalize it 2-2 for CPX. And Synthwave wants to get a little bit more damage back on to Chai here, but very good job. Nation planted that ward early, made sure that he was paying attention to the calls that OTF was saying. Hey, bro, we can take this guy. Hey, bro, we can do this now. Woo! No! Synthwave rather gets clipped by the Call of Forge God round 2. Not able to get a kill off of that, though. No knockout coming from Nation. Looks like they're trying to scrap on both sides of the map here.
Constantly just jockeying for as much advantages as you can get with those conditions. Taking HP, trading mana in the process. You can see Synthwave fishing in this push here. I don't think Chai knows. Looks like he's just trying to hard push. Waits for those CDs. Don't be surprised to see that Camille start to fight here. Does have that Amumu on the back end.
Okay. Already gonna go for, yeah, he's not getting out of here. The flash isn't up, no ultimate available. And that's actually, yeah, gonna be the feat of Warfare going the way of TSS. They got it. They missed out on it last game, just barely. But now it is in their hands. It is something they can work with. This is a 3-0 Camille. Synthwave is waiting to be unleashed. It was a wonderful dodge by Pine here.
Very clean movement from both mids, really. You see that dodge once again on that charm. OTF and Pine just constantly trading here back and forth, and OTF most certainly getting the benefit of this matchup, especially completing those Merc Treads as you and I both highlighted here. Seems like you've really come online. So much opportunity. Beautiful charm once again from Pine.
Yeah, but the damage from OTF is just so good, as there's the ultimate. Curse and Sad Mummy! But the second Bandage Toss misses, and Pine was also not in a position to cap on that. So that is an ultimate blown. Oh! We got him with the return! There's 2 rounds to that chain. Abduct and Abscond coming in full. OTF's like, bro, you wanna toss some bandage? You wanna toss some tethers around? I'll show you. Spider senses on lock here. CPX. OTF is just playing immaculately.
Oh, there's no question about it. You can tell he's feeling himself here. In game 1, he most certainly had that impact, but in game 2 here, he wants to show why this Sylas pick is going to come in so clutch here, basically 1v2ing in that process, and that kind of highlights the issue that you have versus this Sylas. As the Amumu, when you want to gank, if the Sylas could steal your ult too, you can be in for a lot of trouble. In that instance, the ult didn't connect. The chains did, however, from OTF, and he was able to pick up that kill in a 1v2 scenario there, just taking so much pressure away from himself too, and he's actually poised. Maybe he even looks for that Medjais there with a few stacks on that Dark Seal, but I think wisely so. They're just going to rotate their solo, get that Ahri out of that mid matchup into something that's a bit more safe. Of course, when you have these members in that mid lane, this is where you can start to control at least some of those neutral objectives. We're hoping to see that TSS is able to contest for one of those, because so far the first dragon's gone to CPX, as well as the first set of grubs.
Yeah, man, they're just cutting for all the feats. Seth playing a little loose there, but I mean the objective control from CPX is something that I highlighted last game, and it's something that is also coming into play here, as they're actually going to get the second dragon as well. And I mean, Nation is just doing his, due diligence of roaming around the entire map, influencing wherever he can in this game. Sure, it's 3 kills apiece. The gold is a tiny bit in TSS's favor, but you look at the objectives that have been picked up by CPX, they're clearly in the lead in that regard, and it's up to them to keep pushing that, ahead. Is okay, they will equalize the grubs a little bit, but I mean, I'm wondering, where is he going next?
Well, that's it. And with this cross map, I like this a lot, because you're playing stronger to your Camille, which is a strong side, but of course you leave Pinaholic in an instance like this, and we'll have to see how well he can play on this Ahri. Beautiful charm.
Yep, all 3 going in. Okay. Yeah,
excellent. If he's able to dodge that right there, that's huge. Now, mind you, you're going to still lose a plate or two, but you were going to lose that anyways, because Penguini in some trouble here, though.
Oh, dear. It's a full-on fight. Everyone is in the mix. It's a wonderful jump in. It's going to lead to the first kill and a shutdown, technically going over the way for Wanderer. Now he's able to get into the fight. Here comes Koopa on the backside, untouched, free firing in. There are a lot of low health bars on TSS, but there's also one big Birdman playing the front line here. As long as he's drain tanking, he is doing enough damage. Cooldown's coming back online for other members of TSS. The charm goes wide, the flash goes wide as well. Koopa is still firing, but out of mana, so no more rockets for him. They're gonna get one, but TSS coming up a little bit better on the back end of that.
Yeah, that's really off the gold spent there. That Rylai's coming in so clutch for Wanderer there. The perma slow, it's actually going to burn Koopa's flash on the exit there too. And things looked really good. Then they looked really bad, really good, really bad. It was tough to tell where that little skirmish was going to end up. But as you mentioned, yeah, TSS ultimately is going to come out a little bit ahead in that there. And Swain with that 2-0 scoreline now too. Of course, Swain just notorious for being able to stat check as soon as you do get ahead on that champion. It seems like you're never going to lose that edge. So right now, you have a really strong win con in that Swain. You have a really strong win con in that Camille. These guys are definitely poised here in this game too to be able to take control of it. Of course, they need to probably start focusing on some of these dragons. They can give up this next one here, but ultimately you're not going to want to give that soul over, so you're definitely going to want to look to start fighting as much as you can. They did a good job topside cross-mapping, taking those grubs, absorbing all of the pressure bot side with that Ahri, able to dodge that initial gank there, but TSS definitely coming out ahead here. They're looking very strong in this game too. I don't think they're having any issues adapting.
Yeah, and like you said, talking about that dragon stacking, I think TSS would love to get 4 Ocean Drakes into an Ocean Soul with this composition of theirs. I mean,
that'd be nice.
That'd be
I'd take that.
So good for them, especially on the Swain. Ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, it's just a matter of TSS actually wanting to pay attention to these objectives now, as I believe they're going to fight for grubs again here in a moment. Triple has now fallen, and wow. he's just playing so. I'm like, bro, please watch out. Like, don't go in that bush at all. But he's unafraid, dashing out. Mobility on this Ahri still very key. Because TSS looking a lot better in game number 2 than they were previous.
They definitely are, and I actually want to bring it back to that Ocean Soul. Even though that won't be in contention for a long time, I think it's really indicative of how these team fights play out. While there is some burst on some of these members here, ultimately the team fights are going to go on for like 20 seconds, 25 seconds. The amount of healing sustain that's actually going to come through here, and just the lack of consistent damage on both teams, you're really going to see these pay off here. Whether it's the Swain or whether it's the Sylas being able to get that Swain ult, I think those two ults are going to be massively impactful. But these team fights could very well be slow. They could be dragged out. They could be long. So We'll have to see how both teams are able to adapt to that. Ultimately, if you can get that kill, right, if you're able to force that fight, find that pick, that's massive. That opens you up here. But yeah, when I'm looking at these team fights right now, I just see a lot of opportunity here for really long skirmishy brawls, really.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And man, Synthwave 3-0-1 on Camille. I'm still looking for him to do a little bit more active around the entirety of the map. As College of Vortcon actually called out by Chai, just clear the wave. There was some, no threat of a gank or anything like that, but just, trying to get something out of the way is, okay, which top black mask? It's a bandage toss on Tunasian, forcing him to have to flash out. No flash on a Zen. That's really good for any upcoming team fights. And 30 seconds before this Ocean Drake that we talked about TSS needing to grab, that's huge.
Of course, right? And now you don't have that Ornar. How can you contest? Chai's just losing this naturally at this point anyways. And of course you don't have the Zen flash to do it. Does a good job clearing the wave.
Okay.
Gonna chunk Synthwave down to just below half HP, but yeah, once again, no call to Forge God available, no flash there from Nation. I think this is very wise here from CPX, and it seems like their macro's quite strong here. They just recognize the game state. It's really difficult for them to contest this, so why not just cross map in the process? We'll just take the Rift Herald. That still gives them a nice advantage when it comes to the tempo on the top side here. Koopa does need to be careful though. Nice charm.
Okay, just call it the tail end of that charm. Max range charm behind, but Koopa, I'm not clarity. But yeah, you're right. The cross mapping from CPX, their macro is pretty nice. And now they're gonna call for this TP. It was a little bit of a bait. They want to take down OTF, who does have a bounty on his head to 1-1 here, has been doing a lot of work for the CPX team. And it looks like he will not survive out. It's taking 4 out of the 5 members, sure. But hey, they got a kill, another credit going the way of Synthwave, who did TP down for that.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice in the short term. However, in the long term, you're really going to get punished here. We need Synthwave. We need somebody to back match this. It could very well be not only first brick, but actually 2 turrets going down for the side of CPX for this dragon here. And obviously the dragon's nice, but that's your first dragon. It's not your win con here. So TSS really down in tempo as we do see the second crash coming in. Yeah, I think this is going to be turret, Mr. Crow. Yeah,
they're knocking down another one, doing a little Tokyo drifting into some bricks and mortar from Noxus. Go ahead and scramble this one up, and this is the way they're really keeping this lead, quote unquote, that TSS has closer than it should, because they're playing so heavily objective focused. Is Pinguini's on the run here on this Karma, had to burn flash, but shield speed up, get him out of dodge. He's gonna regroup with the rest of his team. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that lead that TSS has, very minuscule, but CPX playing this very good objective game, keeping them within swinging distance.
Yeah, it seems like their map rotations to me seem very clean right now. Like, a lot of the decisions that they're making, they're wagered based off the information that they have. They're not just throwing them out a whim, and they're making the right calls here. And of course, with that cross map, being able to net that Rift Herald also allows you to grab that tier 1 and that tier 2 turret. That's a huge gold injection. That also makes it a lot easier for Chai now in that side lane. Once he clears those minions, he knows that they're gone on a long trip down towards the enemy nexus. You don't have to worry about it for a while. So that, of course, gives your Ornn more opportunities to be able to group up here. So yeah, in the short term, that kill on OTF was nice, but in the long term here, there's no doubt about it. CPX came ahead in that sequence here, as we do see some more jockeying towards this mid lane.
Yeah, just bot laners rotate the mid lane, clearing wave, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, nice route to deny the Abyssal Dive. Okay, Pinguini gonna get some damage here, him and Wanderer both, and as it fights on both lanes.
And now the flash.
Yeah, trading in. They want to go back in for it, but looks like they're gonna let him alone for right now. Some mid laners fighting it out in bot lane as well. Nice flash gained, taking that flash away from the top Kinch. Once again, another good team fight tool down.
Absolutely. You see just how little damage they have versus that TK2. I was surprised they were able to get that flash, but hey, I'll take that all day long if you're TSS here. And just so much trading back and forth. Wanderer looking for this. Oopa,
yeah,
though.
He knows. Pops the ult here. Okay, demonic ascension.
Second thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, Koopa's like, hey, mate, just a prank, bro. Just a prank.
Choose. I think wisely so. I think he recognizes there right away. Sees you Valkyrie in there. You just don't have the damage to be able to take the Swain Water, pops the arc, gets a flash out of that for free now. So could be another option there. Of course, both flashes being burned on that bot lane. OTF fishing once again. Nice charm though.
Okay. Yep, these defensive charms from Pineholic, he has to utilize them as much as possible because he knows OTF's going to dive in with the abduct. And
I don't like the looks of this though right now. I'm looking at that mini map. I see a lot of portraits bot side.
I do see that. Yep, there's a lot of blue surrounding this red fish here. Oh dear, you're gonna walk right into it. No, actually dash charm. Spirit Rush 2, Spirit Rush 3, you're getting out of there.
Pinehog's gonna live, but at the end of the day, that turret's still going to go down, which now means that turret count's gonna go to that 3 mark here. You do have that dragon in a minute and 40. CPX definitely controls this bot side here, and once again, Crow, we're seeing just really strong, really smart rotations coming out from CPX.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of it. This is a different complexion than what they did last game, Mike, because they were already so far ahead, and it was such a scrappy team composition from both squads, so they were fighting more often. This time we're seeing them slow it down, starve them out via resources, which has been very beneficial for CPX. They can still fight if they need to, but the thing is they haven't needed to, and that is really, like I said, helping them keep this. It's basically same gold wise. And every time you see TSS try to aggress onto CPX, currently they're just like, oh, we're not fighting, bro. We are not fighting, y'all. Like, it's not happening. When they don't want it to happen, it doesn't happen. So very good on them keeping this as not bloody as possible.
We do see that TP coming through from Pinehog, trying to find that pick, recognizing that Koopa did burn that Valkyrie. Of course, he didn't have that flash from that fight earlier on, and unfortunately, they're not able to net anything off that. Fortunately for Pinehog, though, he can just swing towards that top side. He doesn't miss too much for that. Of course, TP being burned isn't ideal, but nevertheless, TSS just good reaction overall there. At least they're trying to be as proactive as they possibly can on this map, and they're fishing, and we'll have to see now. Pinehog's in towards this top side. He's going to want to get this reset, and I'm almost certain both teams are going to want to contest for this dragon, as we do see CPX beginning this setup.
Yeah, they're plotting, they're starting something. 10 seconds till this Ocean Drake. TSS, a few members in the area, not solely focused on it though, as we did point out. It's fighting for this mid lane. Both mid lane tier 3 towers still up. They're still there. Those structures are still standing, so the mid map has not been busted open here at the 22-minute mark, as it does look like TSS will be first in the dragon, and the majority of CPX, they want to go for Icon.
Interesting. A lot of the times I find Atacon's a bait. In this instance right here, I'm not so sure at all. The question is, do you have enough damage to be able to secure it? That armor in that MR shred's going to come through here. You're going to get chunked. CPX needs to be careful.
Okay, there's the call. The Forge God missing on multiple members, but they still want to fight this. It is Wanderer and it is Pinguini up here. They are running. Wanderer is surviving for as long as he can, but he's going to get to a point where he's not going to take much more damage before he finishes somebody off. He does manage actually to get a kill before he falls through, and he's simply trying to switch as possible, gets a double. That Camille is absolutely godlike and gets out. They're going to sacrifice somebody. Looks like Pine Holland will have to fall. The health bars are on the side of CPX here. This could be the turn they need. This could be the thing that puts them back into this game. And OTF is on the back line, gets chased down on a Pinguini, says, get over here, takes one down. Wanderer fires back, make sure he's out of the fight. It's a 3 for 2 at the moment. Make that a 2 for 4. They want to get the full ace. Give it to him. You wanted the Otacon, we will make you pay in blood, say TSS.
That sequence is actually crazy. That's a cross-map call on that Atacon. The fight happens so long trying to pick up Wanderer on that Swain. Probably 20-25 seconds of just chasing. Amumu wasn't even in that fight, Crow. Amumu was nowhere to be seen.
He was totally dragon.
He solo dragon. He solo ulted OTF. OTF almost cleaned that up too, by the way. Yeah. So close from them. And yeah, that's a close skirmish. But I mean, at the end of the day, TSS, you're gonna be able to net that up. That's exactly what you needed too, right? Now you've got, I mean, those 2 wing guns that you had before, or even that much more now. They're just so much more accelerated. Of course, that 2 items being completed on Synthwave on the Camille. That's massive here. We haven't seen a lot of that side lane threat really come into play quite yet on this Camille, but the amount of impact that this champion has had has been well worth the red side pickup for game number 2. And of course, Wanderer on that Swain, absorbing so much pressure. Also now has that active with the Zanyas. I believe it's the arm guard. It's been a hot minute since I've had to say that one. So of course you have that stasis ability now, which just buys even that much more time here. And yeah, TSS team comp, even though it's very AP heavy, is definitely starting to pay off dividends here if CPX cannot punch through that front line.
Yeah, and then also that harkens back to like us talking about this AP heavy composition, but we got to make sure Synthwave is ahead. The man is 6-0-4. That seems pretty ahead to me, as he is able to just chomp through the composition right now. Like, you saw how long he was fighting off 3 different champions from CPX, gets 2 kills and then dips out. That's disgusting. That's actually unfair. And he's able to do that because they are itemizing more towards that magic resist for the rest of the team. And it's allowing him to run rampant in these fights now, while also being able to split push very effectively.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You needed Synthwave on this Camille to get ahead. Fortunately, you have that. You have more than that. You have everything that you need in that regard. But yeah, you're 100% right. You put a lot of eggs into the Camille basket. Fortunately for you, it paid off with TSS here. So of course you do have that physical damage threat, and Synthwave is a huge threat right now. You could even see Illicit Raven on that TK just slowly beginning to hover towards that bot side. So they recognize the pressure that this Camille has on them. A beautiful charm once again. We've just seen this so many times, Curl, but the slow chase.
It's a matchup, and yeah, he's actually going to steal the Spirit Rush and chase after Pine connects onto him. Gets this 1v1? Yes, he does. That's another 1v1. OTF just has Pine's number, but the TP was called up top by Synthwave to try and finish this man off. He is stuck, he is stunned up, and now the fight is on all across the board. There's a Curse of Sad Money coming out from TSS as well, but it's a shutdown. Koopa has gotten one, Synthwave has gotten another. Call of Forge God just now being offered out by Chai, and he scores big enough to make the distance so CPX can get away. Wanderer says, no, I got realized you're coming back with me. There's the Devourer coming out from Illicit Raven though. CPX says, hey, enough. We're running. We got something. We got to. We're getting out.
I was wondering if OTF was going to be able to live here. He actually had one more dash, if I'm not mistaken. He had one more charge on that RAR, but unfortunately for him, Synthwave just burns the R himself, locks him in place there. They're able to net that kill, which is huge, but ultimately CPX is going to come out of that ahead, netting 2 kills in the process there, I believe, right?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
They got the 2 kills? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason I blanked there. So CPX able to recover. That's quite nice there, and really seems like it's off the back of OTF on the Silas, and he's had a really good early game as we transition into 27 minutes. It doesn't feel like that long of a game, to be honest with you, but as we move towards this mid into the later stages of the game, you can see how much impact that Silas has in those side lanes too. Another side lane threat that I think you and I both missed when it came to this draft was that Silas, and I think OTF is showing why.
Yeah, I mean, OTF has been doing a really good job just making sure Einholic has not been able to play this game. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's been a majority of matching him in each side lanes. Like, yes, OTF by himself can be a really good side lane threat, but he's spent a majority of this game making sure that Pineaholic has not been able to go anywhere at all and not be able to, be a side lane split push Ari, which has been really nice for CPX to have him. Night and day role from playing the Karma in game number 1. Like, this man's hands are alive, the brain is there, but now it looks like we're having all hands gathered here for this next Ocean Drake. TSS aren't the first to the punch this time. CPX are going to go on the Chai here. Interesting choice here, as now, oh man, okay, Black Mass being caught in between everybody, but there's a fight down by behind the pit. Pytholic actually takes out Nation, and we're going right back up to the river top, fighting through. Black Mass needs to stay alive. Both junglers for both team are down, but what is the after fight? What is the frack RP? He snipes out Koopa, says, get down, son. Synthwave's gonna fire again, take him down. TSS are on the hunt, and they will find 4. It looks like they're fighting another 5. It's looking to be a little bit of a delayed ace here. Hook shot, catch, caught, auto 2, ace.
No way he lives. Oh my god, Synthwave.
He lives.
He dove past. He dove through tier 2 to tier 3. No minion wave. No minion wave.
Oh my god! So they get an ace and will be rewarded with the dragon.
Okay. Whoa. So fights on 2 fronts there. We saw the fight initially in that banana bush towards the top side of our screen there, but of course while that was happening, you saw that 2v2 happening in the enemy tribe rush there, or the blue tribe rush, and I think that's where that fight actually was decided, and it was almost instantaneous right then and there. A beautiful charm came through, the chunk came through, and then ultimately the team fight just seems so scattered there from CPX. They tried to do what they could, but you can really start to see Wander on the Swain become a real problem now, because it wasn't even close at that point. There was 3 members focusing, and yes, it wasn't all their DPS, but they didn't even get him below half. So I don't know how you're going to be able to index into kill this Swain here. Well, you almost have to play away from the Swain as much as you can, hope to burn the Swainar and then kite out, but the things that I'm mentioning are a lot easier said than done. So TSS just needs to pull trigger. They need to force these fights, and as long as they can keep these fights going, I feel at this point right now they're not going to lose them.
Turk, my dog, remember how after Dragon number 2 was claimed by CPX, we said TSS needs to start playing more around the objective game? And wouldn't it be nice if they could just stack multiple Ocean Dragons?
Yeah, I do remember that.
look at this now. Look at this.
I think we were talking about something about an Ocean Soul.
Yeah,
I think we talked about that. We said, oh yeah, that's not for a long time, but I would love to be able to have that. I guess in 4 minutes they can have that.
yeah. There's 3 oceans or 4 oceans plus Ocean Soul, bro. If they thought killing Wander would be hard before, and good luck now, as we got another 1v1. This is the 1v1 I've been looking for. Synthwave versus OTF. Ooh, Hookshot is on such a low cooldown at this point. We'll take a few shots from the tower. OTF limping away from that one. The man for CPX has been doing so much damage this game. It's got clock lead.
And OTF has that side lane threat versus Pinaholic in the Ari. The real king in the side lane still is Synthwave on this Camille. He shows you why right there. I mean, you expect the Camille to come out like ahead in that 1v1, but he does it in a very dominant fashion, able to net the tier 2 off the back of that too. So lots of threat that Synthwave has, and really nobody on CPX can actually match him, and this is going to be the problem now for sure. I mean, the 9-0 scoreline is indicative for sure of the game state, but it's just that much more when nobody can match that Camille, nobody can deal with this. But do you see some sort of a fight being forced?
Yeah, OTF wanted to go in, but I mean, Black Bass says we're going to fight in it too. And so, yeah, there's a stolen Swain ultimate. Here's the real Swain ultimate, buddy. Listen, Raven actually does take down Black Mass. Still split pushing the bot side is Synthwave, so it is a 4v5 for CPX right now. CPX are trying to get the upper hand, but there's so many high health bars. These Ocean Drake coming in clutch here for TSS, or I say so as the drain is just so damn good for OTF. He actually plays hero here and takes down the 4. The 5th will get the structures, but the rest of the team has fallen. That's the call to go to Baron.
Oh, these games are so sloppy, and I love it. That Valkyrie from Koopa's a little spooky there. Might actually go down. Yeah, he does. I knew it. Hookshot. Nice buffer there on the Tom Kench knockup. Still has the option.
Yeah, he's trying to get away here. He likes these odds. Man, CC City, you ain't got no tenacity. The ult there is not going to do too much to shut down. Oh, that's 1,000?
1,000 gold. 1,000 gold plus he's still worth another what, 550. So
oh my god,
he's worth 1550. That's an objective and a half. That's worth as much as a Baron. He's worth as much as a Baron.
Oh so, no.
Put it in a little perspective just how much gold Synthwave is worth there, and that's 1,000 gold injection going to the side of CPX. OTF more than happy to be able to net that up for himself there. So that gets him on his 3 items. Silas is strong. Huge win con there. The one thing I finally just saw the first item here, and I just want to double check before I say this, but nope, it's okay. I maybe 2 now, but I'm pretty sure the Avarice Blade wasn't there, but no heal reduction at all from either teams for
that was the
first 30 minutes of the game.
That was the first one.
I just felt like I should mention that, because I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, like these guys are tanky, like the Swain's really tanky, but like I don't think he's that tanky normally. They just don't have any healing reduction.
Yeah, I thought about it because like I had mentioned it earlier when Chai went, I believe, Warmog's first item as opposed to going into Bramble, or up against that Camille that could have helped against Synthwave. But yeah, 33 damn minutes in the game and you're just now getting Grievous Wounds. This is one of my solo queue games. This is my rank game. Oh my god.
You buy it.
Turn the TV off.
Muted. Yeah, that's solo queue game for sure. Yeah, 30 minutes from both teams is extremely criminal, to be honest with you.
Jeez.
Like no flame. If both teams don't have it, then okay, maybe you make the argument. But like what, 800 gold? Get that. So at least we have it, right?
Pinguini is is also an offender here, just now getting an Oblivion Orb here.
For sure.
Come on, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we poked fun at the guys. Why not have a little fun at their expense?
Oh my goodness, now, this is the go? This is the go time. It is Ocean Soul time, baby. But TSS says, no, bro, we fight, dog. Jumping straight to the back line. OTF stole the Swain Ultimate again, trying to make a repeat on the top lane, 5v5. Synthwave has already taken out Koopa. There's so much fractal right in the middle of the mid lane. There's a shutdown going down. OTF off the table. Double kill for the Amumu. Black Math says it is time to go to church, baby. Pinaholic takes down Nation. TSS says, hey, the Ocean Drake's still gonna be there, but we want to take some heads first. CPX, that's the third damn ace of this game, and TSS says that's the victory march too.
It looks like it with these death timers right now. The shortest one is Koopa, 22 seconds. That almost certainly spells the end of this game number 2 here. And TSS, Crow, you and I, we doubted the team comp, didn't we? We doubted it. We said there's no way that a team comp like this should be able to work, but that R5 coming in super clutch for TSS, and it really is Synthwave on this Camille. And normally I like to do a little unofficial MVP towards the end of the games. In game number 1, I think it was pretty obvious with Koopa. In game number 2 here, to me, I'd have to say it's Synthwave. Played like an absolute freak. 12-1-8, worth Baron himself, really, right? That 1,500 gold bounty. So I can see why in that R5, that red side makes a lot of sense when you have a performance like that.
That was insane. I'm not even gonna front. Like, who would have thought? All it would have taken was getting Synthwave off of the tank. I mean, granted, it's Cassante, but getting him off of that, non-carry role, giving him the keys, and just not letting. I mean, God, Koopa was almost a non-factor in this game. He was, able to get some damage off in the team fights, but like night and day games, game number 1 to game number 2. Like, you were not seeing Koopa and Illicit Raven pull off these crazy 2v2 or just 2v5 gameplay that they were doing in game number 1. It just wasn't there for them. And, I mean, TSS said, hey, bro, we're going to game 3. We're getting 3. We get 3 tonight. Like, we go the full series. AEL week 1, and we already got a game 3. I love it. I'm so happy to be back, man.
Yeah, you and me both. We got game 3. I got game 2. I missed game 1. Somebody took a nap, but at least I get to cast my best of 3 here, so that's good. I'm looking forward to it. So, I mean, I'm sure at this point the only real question that you have is what's going to end up happening with this game 3 when it comes to the sides. I've just been notified on the back end here that of course we are going to see TSS and CPX swapping sides here. So CPX is going to have red here going into this game 3. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Red side seem to pay off dividends there for game number 2, so we'll see how both teams are able to make those differences up when they switch sides for this game 3.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for it. We're going to do a quick little curtain drop, and when we raise it, we'll be back for game 3 here in AEL week 1. Don't go too far.
See you soon.
Welcome back, my beautiful Aegis darlings. Game number 1, kind of a beatdown. Game number 2, kind of a slugfest. That means game number 3, everyone should be on their best behavior, right? No.
Oh yeah, I mean that logic totally checks out.
This is the big guns. We're fully loaded. We're locked in and ready to go. I'm so happy. We got a side switch. That's a big thing about this one. CPX on red, TSS on blue now. So TSS has had red side 2 games now. They made it count in the second one for sure. Now it's CPX's turn.
Well, that's it, right? So now we're going to see what TSS prioritizes. Of course, we are going to see that Varus ban coming through. You and I both agree, I'm sure, at this point, and that makes a lot of sense here. Yeah. Going to see that Seraphine, the Fiddlesticks. Of course, we're going to see that Hui here. So it's kind of curious to see what happens. Both teams here will not be getting the Karma with that Karma ban coming through. So we're seeing a couple adaptations, but nothing too surprising to me. The real question, of course, is going to be what does TSS want to first pick?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I definitely think TSS want to get that Camille out the way. I mean, I feel like Synthwave was strong enough in this, in game number 2 to where he could blind pick into that. And he actually want to ban the Swain. Actually, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, CPX,
I like that too.
Swain,
yeah.
That's totally cool. That's totally cool.
Yeah, I like that. Wow. So they're going to index really heavy into the Amumu. The B1 Amumu is perfectly fine, but of course you do have those champions that can do quite well into them. That Sylas is going to be another one. Wonder, are we going to see that Sylas once again in game 2? It seemed extremely strong to me. Extremely strong. So I wonder if they're going to index into that. They might not pick it early on right now by any means, but that Amumu B1 really shows you the priority that we're going to see. Are we going to see Mel?
That's what I was talking about. I'm like, hey, there's somebody that was not banned round 1 that was left up, and it will be the Mel. Okay, Mel Madara making her Aegis appearance. It's going to be real fun.
Week 1, we get to see Mel.
I love that.
I'm doing a little digging on Mel while we're
her win rate isn't as high as you would think in professional play, just because she is very much dependent, much like Sylas, on the ultimates available in the game to, reflect. So that is something to think in consideration. And picking her first is so scary, because now you technically can pick around her and make her W only, useful for that 1 second of invulnerability. But CPX gonna go the Jarvan 4 for their second pick. This is still technically a flex. It could be jungle, it could be top.
Yeah, and that leaves you open to something more of like a Wombo style of team comp here, so maybe you will see something like an R3 MF coming through. That might not surprise me too much here, but that Victor, that really just shows me that that's more of a comfort pick than anything. I don't anticipate that Mel going bot side. I've heard that you can flex her support. I'm just not so sure on the actual results of that one. So you can almost pretty much expect that Mel to be going mid, so that Victor Mel matchup should favor that Victor, especially as the game progresses there. Wow, that is a pick I never would have expected. I'm gonna be honest with you, Crow. Like that again, that's a lot of AP. Something that we saw from game 2. Game 3, we're seeing the exact same thing. That Zyra to me is very surprising though.
So it's interesting because I did see Zyra pop up a few times. I want to say in LTA North and I think LEC, but it was Zyra jungle. That's the whole thing. So I don't think that's gonna be the case here. I do think it's gonna be Zyra support here. But it gives a lot of area control now for TSS, right? You have the Victor and the Zyra. Also with the Amumu, these team fights are going to be so scary.
And I'm actually wondering a little bit, because I tend to agree with you, but the other little part of me says, what if that's an Amumu support? Because I think you can actually send it that way too, and I won't think too much about it right now by any means, but that is something that I wonder if CPX is whether if that's registering on their radar or not. That's something that they're concerned about. We are going to see that R3 Melio pick though coming through. That to me makes quite a bit of sense. I'm curious to see how much value the Melio is going to get, especially into something like a Victor and a Zyra that can keep that distance, just poke you down and really just kind of shred you before your R is even useful. But of course it does directly counter that Amumu pick, so in that instance I understand it. Phase 2 two bans, we see that Darius and that Mordekaiser both tops being targeted.
Yeah, the TSS does not want that Mordekaiser. Game 1 kind of scarred them with that one. And there will be the Camille ban. Okay, cool. CPX responding in kind.
Game 2. Game 2 scarring.
Both of those top laners that gave them a lot of pain. They said, no, not for this side of Game 3. And the Jinx pick off. Okay, very nice. I mean, I understand that.
Yeah, me too.
They don't want Koopa to get any semblance of a hyper carry, but taking away the Varus and now taking away the Jinx.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to default back to the Corki.
I hope not. I hope not right now. No, I want to see some more of like an auto attack focused AD carry. I don't know if it'd be the greatest here, but you can run something like an Ashe. I feel like you need more damage though, so I'm not exactly sure what they're going to opt to pair it with. Maybe a Camille. Oh, that's huge. I think that's a really good pick. I think that's exactly what their team comp needed there. So with that Melee and with that Aphelios, that's like a stock standard duo that I completely forgot about because Aphelios has been out of the meta for so long at this point here, but that pick to me makes sense here in a vacuum. I'm curious to see how TSS is going to respond.
This is so interesting because like I'm looking at like Koopa's OP and I'm like, there's no Aphelios on there. So like
I'm not too surprised, honestly. Like Aphelios just hasn't been meta for like a year, 2 years, whatever it's been now. It feels that long anyways. So not too surprised. If I'm not mistaken, the MF is a direct counter to that Aphelios. So in that matchup, in isolation, that'll be interesting to see how that gets paired with. Of course, now TSS does have a really strong team fight here. Of course, you have that Mumu R to be able to layer on top of the Victor, Zyra, MF. Like, it's good, man. It's good. Yeah,
this is so nasty. And round it out with the Jace. Interesting once again. Okay,
that's quick.
We got the Rock. Dwayne the Malphite Johnson making an appearance.
That was a quick lock-in, man.
All right, it was so quick. Right, he's a Jace immediate slam.
Yeah, just no question about it. Pick me Malphite. That's what you're gonna get here. So TSS they have a really interesting team comp. I'm curious to see how it's going to round out. Very ultimate centric. So of course you are gonna need those 6s before you really start to kick online with this team comp. Question I have is what and how is Jace going to play into this? Jace to me seems like a bit of maybe almost like the odd duck out, you might say. Like he's more of a poke style. Of course you do have that range with that Victor and that Zyra, but that Jace is something that I'm really wondering about. Especially takes you a little bit longer with that 2-item spike, especially with that Jace to start to come online. So we'll see how that pilots, especially into that Malphite. So that's gonna be troublesome. And then CPX is drafted like, to me, a pretty stock standard comp. They have good engage. I think they just need to group up as 5.
This is insane to me because like I was just talking about when CPX first picked Mel, I'm like, hey, technically they could pick some champions that don't give her too much onus with her W, and you give her MF, Zyra, Victor, and the Jace. So like she can't, so her W can only, if very similar to Braum, it's like it's only that initial onslaught or something. So the MF ult versus Mel W does not work how you would think it would.
Yeah, it would just block the one.
It's the first 2 waves, and then everything else after that you're getting hit with.
That makes sense.
So, and like, I mean, yeah, you can reflect accelerated shock blast from Jace. That's cool, but you're not reflecting nothing from Zyra. I forgot we're a PG-13 stream here.
Yeah, I've been close a couple times.
You're not reflecting nothing from Zyra. You might, I mean, and you don't really want to reflect the bandage toss from a Mumu because then you're gonna be going the other way. So they did a good job at playing around the composition that CPX has provided. So now I'm really hoping that game 2 was that shot in the ass for TSS saying, hey bro, we can go toe to toe, we can box like this. And this composition from CPX is very scary, much like how in game number 1 it's very dependent on how does this early game go for y'all. How are y'all gonna be able to make it to survive to that mid game if you can?
That's it too, especially when you draft a jungler like Jarvan. Jarvan's going to index into that more gank heavy, right? So you're a bridge jungle when you pick Jarvan. So a couple kills on you is fine, but you don't want those kills. You want to give those to your carries. This instance you have that Mel, but especially that Aphelios. So we'll see how well the Jarvan's able to play in this early game. I feel like you really want to get at least 1, if not 2 kills by your second clear at the end of it. So around 5-6 minutes really. We'll see if that Jarvan's able to come through, because if not, I think at that point TSS when it comes down to their team fights. That's, I think, where they're really going to start to shine. As we mentioned it before, those ultimates, once they come online, that's going to be very scary for them. So CPX, you have a bit of onus on you in the early game with that Jarvan pick to see if you can make something happen. If not, you still have a strong enough team fight where I think you'll be able to bounce back from it, no problem. But of course, these are the things that I'm looking at, so I'm just curious to see how both of these teams are going to kind of deal with those imminent threats.
Imminent threats indeed. All right, we got the pre-yapping done, the appetizer yapping done. We gotta throw it away for a little bit and come back and unveil the main course yapping soon to happen. So we're gonna throw a quick little break slide. Hope you're ready for this decider game number 3 between TSS and CPX. I'll see you on the other side.
See you soon.
Let's go. Game 3. CPX, TSS. They've been slugging at each other's throats all night. I've been loving every second of it. I'm Beautiful Crow. I got Turk with me. Ice Fire behind the keys. We're going to finish this story tonight. AEL Week 1 brought us a banger, and all we have to do is sit through one more game.
Hey Crow, let's play a little game of Where's Waldo. There's somebody who sticks out from all of the rest of them right now. Take a look at your items.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I know.
Okay, you reckon? Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, I wasn't sure. I've seen this, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I've done this. I know, so I know I've seen this. Okay, so that's good. All right, we're gonna be able to match that up here. Both teams, pretty stock standard looks like at this point, though. We are just seeing those 5 points come through. I was wondering if both junglers would mirror each other. This was the one thing that I was very interested to see early on. Looks to me right now like Nation on this Jarvan's going to be starting to clear this top side, obviously then pathing down. Well, of course, we see the Amumu pathing towards that top side. So a lot of Jace focus here early on, it seems to be from the side of TSS, while of course we see that more heavy bot lane style, which is I think something that you and I both expected to see with this Aphelios and this Melio being locked in.
For sure. I mean, we had talked about, how well Koopa did in game number 1 on the Varus and how lackluster he was in game number 2 on the Corki. Now going back to the Aphelios, do expect him to have a lot more agency in these fights, even early on, but this is such a great answer to it, MF, Zyra, the damage composition. Tale as old as time, honestly. This is a classic composition that whenever it pops back up in a meta, even if it isn't a meta, it just sits right outside of it, right? It does a large amount of burst damage and wonderful control early.
Yeah, that duel is really funny as we see some more trading coming through here. I mean, at one time, Zyra was the most OP support pick you could pick, and then, of course, there was the SKT versus Rock series where the MF counter pick actually came through and it counter picked the Zyra, and I guess the answer was you just never fight her. You just outrange her, so it's always funny to see those two come back together. So we do see some more trading towards that bot side, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy. A lot of chunking all across the board. CPX taking a lot of damage. Shy, OTF, and even Koopa, all taking a massive chunk out of them early. But that's just the thing. TSS has such a strong composition. They fight. Like, this Jace is going to hit hard early up against Shy because Malphite's not going to have those tanky resistances just yet, He has to get at least a cloth armor on him, a few points into that W, Like, he has to be able to build up some resistances before he becomes that anti-AD machine, right?
That's it, for sure. And both teams have done a really good job tracking the junglers here. Nation has managed to get behind Victor here, though. Pineaholic having to burn that flash, and that's just really good reading there. There was actually Raptors on both of those, Raptors. There's actually both wards on those Raptor pits there. So the spot comes through. We do see this trade here.
And Black Mass follows him through on the EQ flash, and yeah, he's gonna get it. Okay, that was fancy.
Wow, that was really nice here. So ultimately, throughout that whole sequence, even though both junglers teams had a good idea of where they were, it seems like at the end, Amumu is gonna come out ahead there. So Black Mass just doing a really good job of being able to net that kill up there. And yeah, the banish toss just perfect timing. Follows the EQ, burns the flash over the wall, and that's the kill. And OTF and Pineaholic once again.
Yeah, they're just at each other's throat. They're just at each other's throat. And in the mid lane, this matchup is really fun because we have been seeing a lot of Victor a lot in higher tiers of play for sure. But Mel, like I said, very divisive. She is brand new to the live servers, at least for pro play. Not a lot of pros have been liking her just because she's very situational. And this matchup is really, really scary for Pine.
No flash.
You're kind of Dunsky, bro.
Beautiful.
So okay, Nation gets his lick back, but here is Witchsaw Black Mass here, double buffed up, potentially want to do some damage here. Imagine if he just got one bandage toss on and just hit OTF2. Just imagine the scenario. But no, 1-1 for both parties.
For sure, and Nation's done just a really good job of this early game, I think. Even though you do end up going down for that first blood, not ideal, but ultimately that repeat gank is going to be nice to be able to net that through. He actually steals that in the process, buffers that with the EQ, and off he goes.
Oh, it's the mind games. You gotta get the mental. You gotta get the mental as well. Man, okay. Nation, a little rocky to start, but slowly coming back into things with that kill, with that steal as well. Just needing to stay on top of things as much as he can. I mean, he's going to be very gank heavy, right? He can also out farm Wichita Black Mass on this Amumu, but I mean, Jarvan thrives in these games.
And you can actually see that manifesting too. And even though early on, yeah, he probably can out push or out clear that Amumu. Ultimately, around this point right now, it definitely seems to me like with all that AoE that Amumu has, you're going to be able to out clear. And of course, in this process too, you've now netted yourself like a 3-camp lead on top of having the rest of the camps to clear, paddling down towards bot side. So Black Mass has done a really good job here of just kind of controlling this early game for himself, and yeah, he's going to hit that level 6 definitely before Nation will. And Nation, of course, as you mentioned, it's 100% true. With this Jarvan, you want to be ganking as much as possible, so really the CS, really the farm doesn't matter as much, right? But nevertheless, something just to point out is we do see the ult coming through.
Immediate 6, immediate turn, and I mean, hey, he did ult for no reason. I promise you, there is a reason, and that reason is Nation over there, but is intercepted by Wichita Black Mass. The bandage toss number 2, securing it and actually giving the credit simply to that final bullet in the chamber. That's huge.
He's so much tempo on Nation right now on that Jarvan here in OTF.
Okay.
Getting the best of Pinaholic in game 2. Wow, look at the damage on that Victor.
Not quite enough for the passive execute though. That would have been so close. One more auto, one more Q volley, you think would actually seal the deal. Ooh, Pine is not having a good time here in this mid lane and has to have a little bit of backup come down in the form of Pinguini. Seeing it as he's just barely not connecting as well. OTF playing the smell very well.
Yeah, OTF had Pineholic's number in game number 2. Game number 3 seems to be going the same way here so far. And this Mel, you and I were both wondering how that was going to end up playing out here for CPX. But so far, so good in this early game. Look at that CS discrepancy too. By the time that wave clears, it's going to be about 20 CS. So I mean, right now, it seems to be working out really well. Nation just cheekily in here. Looks like he's going to be able to net this red buff up. First troubles here. Probably just EQ over that pit, and off he goes. So that's a good play here. And it really, you can see these micro trades that are happening from both teams as these objectives are now finally being considered here at the 7.5 minute mark. And we'll see who really wants to play for this. Of course, you do want those ultimates on the side of TSS. So I anticipate that to be their real timer here. You could see Black Mass still continuing to farm the spot side here. And I am very curious to know how close that Amumu is to his 6. It really should beat this camp here. So
yeah, there it is. Yep, immediately takes it right over. Okay, so now the key ultimates, the Wombo combo setup for TSS is available. We can, they can make it happen. Like I said, just now considering these neutral objectives for real. Dragon has not been fallen yet. TSS need one more kill, one more frag down to get that feat of warfare, right? And start that off. If they can get the first dragon along with that, that would be pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. But now it's all up to them. They are set up for success. Just can't blunder it.
And that's really what it comes down to now. Just that execution. Of course, TSS, when you have all these ultimates up, that's when you are strong. So we'll see if they're able to levy that or wager it into any more objectives here. But of course, as you mentioned there, first set of void grubs, great. Still no dragon being started from either team, so just not much of a priority here. We do see this route from OTF.
Yep, passive stack, I don't believe it's quite enough here to get that execute, but man, that's a massive chunk. OTF chunking down, chopping, taking a bite out of Pinaholic here. He's just not been having a fun time. And Synthwave, you really want that fight? Are you sure? Oh, great reaction to the flash from the ultimate. Fires back in, has a speed boost as well. Potential, gonna go for that finishing touch? No, Shachai does have his flash available too. So that's an ult traded for a flash for both the hop laners here.
Synthwave just wanted to show off his reaction speed. Yeah. Yeah, why not? That was a good flash there. And I mean, you can see the amount of damage that you're just not doing as Synthwave on that Jason. It only gets worse from here. Pinguini. Oh, that all just missed. That might have been a kill.
Yeah, had that connected, and now getting turned on Wanderer. See, the thing is, like, you see how much health they're losing from TSS, but this bot lane is playing so far forward every single time. Like, every time you pan down here to this bot lane, the TSS bot lane is forward. CPX is generally just reacting to them and, taking a chunk out of them, and now it does look like going to push the wave in and then just back off, and, like, that's watch, which repeat for this squad.
Right now, so of course we do see CPX. They have the vision on this dragon, so they recognize where TSS is playing to. To me, of course, this is going to be the main question. How do you want to play this? Nation, you have that option. To me, this makes the most sense. You can see him pathing out towards that top side, so that cross map should be coming through from CPX. They actually get the reset on their bot lane, so I'm curious to see if they're going to swing that towards mid. Looks like they could very well be, as we see. Oh my god.
I saw the E connect. I was like, oh yeah, you're low, you're gonna die. Okay, we'll trade a kill for Drake. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
E flash ultimate passive mark.
Oh. Wow. Okay, so that's a kill. So you're ahead in that regard. You're ahead about 30 CS here. This Mel is working out 100% for CPX right now. Chai in this Malphite's doing exactly what he needs to do too, and you can see this is where I expect the next fight to really break out. We see 4 members from both teams here. Victor, crucially, Pineaholic will not be in this fight. Of course, he is pathing down towards that bot side without that TP.
Okay. Grubs do seem to be the area of interest, and yeah, they're going to be started up by, looks like both parties actually, trying to get something. Reflect the Q back, that's so funny.
We do see Koopa rotating too. Numbers are going to be on the side of CPX.
Yeah, just barely. I mean, wait, did Pine TP down there? I don't believe so, no. Okay. Oof, Wander taking a heavy chunk. Yeah, you got to get out of there. It does look like CPX are going to be able to bully TSS off with the Grubs here. Yeah, Pine wants to get out of mid lane ASAP, try to get some more gold in his pocket. That lady's bullying me up there in mid lane. What? Wait, how? How did he steal it?
Okay.
I'm so confused. How did he steal the Grub?
Okay, that threw me off for a second too, because I was looking at the graphics there and I saw 5 Void Grubs. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's something must be bugged. Nope, he just stole it.
Did he steal it with just like, was one of the plants still alive?
It was a plant.
Look, Zyra is one of my favorite champions.
What the hell?
Because of small little stupid stuff like that happens. Ask me about how I got a dragon steel while I was dead with one of my plants up.
That's actually big too. 5 Void Grubs, the flash coming through. This time, Synthwave, you can't react to that one.
Yeah, you're done. You're in the bounce house with the Malphite. Bro, done. Okay, so that's actually the feat of warfare just barely squeaking over to CPX. They will be the first to 3. And hey, you can't reflect the Chaos Storm once it's already on you, Buff. Unfortunately for you, and that's going to be a shutdown. 400 gold being answered back. Pineaholic gets his revenge.
And I think you and I were both expecting this. It's just kind of a matter of when. In that 1v1, that Victor should come out ahead of that Mel, in theory. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen there. And giving away that kill most certainly accelerates that process here. And Pineaholic's very happy to get that, to be able to finally get the edge on OTF from really what it feels like about 45-50 minutes of gameplay there. Both game 2 and game 3, it just seemed like Pineaholic wasn't able to get much going here. But as we transition in towards this mid-game here, it most certainly seems like that's the opposite.
Yep. Okay, now one thing I am hunting for, I'm looking for, is there are any grievous wounds anywhere.
Yeah.
Nothing was early.
No, not as imperative in this game 3 here, but most certainly important. So no matter when you get it, that's going to be the question here. It's like, look at you, just do no damage.
This is hard to watch. Oh no, he's pressing W.
No damage,
right clicking you. Went first item Sunfire, so I mean he's.
It's only gonna get worse too.
It's gonna get worse from here.
It does not get any better at all here. And Synthwave, I think wisely so, he recognizes this too. At this point, trying to 1v1 the Malphite, it's going to be to no avail. You might as well push your wave as fast as you can. Get your roams in, find the windows to group up with your team, start really layering down those shock blasts, and that's where the damage and that's where the value of this Jace is going to come through here. So Jace wants to get away from this side lane as much as possible, while equally so, Chai wants to do the same thing. So I don't actually expect these two top laners to really be fighting each other that much longer here, especially once this first brick is taken, as both teams haven't secured this first turret yet. Bot T1 is quite low, Dragon is up in 58 seconds, that could be a window for TSS, but no first brick yet.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting because, I mean, you see the mid laners rotated down to the bot lane rotated up to mid. The top laners are still sticking with it. They have not decided they don't want no more smoke with each other. They've decided they still want to keep fighting against each other, which is really interesting because you would think by this juncture, right? Swap the Vic to the top lane, put the Jace in the bot lane, have that play out better. But that is not the case for either of these two teams. They want to keep this head-to-head going, and seems like we're going that all the way to that 15, waiting for the Otacon to spawn. I do believe, is it Voracious this time? Or is it still Voracious rather? Or it might be Ruinous.
I think it's Ruinous, honestly.
I think it's Ruinous. Okay.
I think it's Ruinous, and in this isolation topside matchup actually favors TSS a lot more. So I think this is much better here if you're actually Synthwave. Even though yes, it sucks for you, it's extremely good for your team here. Of course, that Malphite is that main wombo there. So especially when you can see this right now, of course, CPX, when you don't have that frontliner, you can get forced off really easily, and that's exactly what happens here as both teams continue to jockey for prio on this mid wave. Really, whoever gets that mid wave push first is going to have that early roam, and when these neutrals are up, it's that much more important.
Yeah, it looked like CPX wanted to pounce on Pinguini because he got hit with a Mel, but as soon as 2 more members from TSS showed up, they said, never mind, we are not fighting this. This did not happen as the Dragon has spawned here. It's Cloud Drake, so I don't expect them to be too fight heavy for it, too bloodthirsty for it. Well, no, there are a lot of pinks still coming around it. Somebody wants this Dragon dead. They want it. Rift Herald will spawn now, but I mean, it's tension's very high here. It is the deciding game after all.
It's mostly fake posture though to me right now. It seems like if a fight breaks out, it's going to be extremely random here. There's really no emphasis on getting mid prio. It's just 1v1 being mashed, both AD carries in that mid lane. Same deal with bot side too. No real pressure being applied from either team, and you can kind of see that. It seems a bit indecisive here. Of course, you do see Chai right now moving on this Malphite. I can almost certainly guarantee that TSS is aware of that, and if they're not, this could be a huge window here for CPX. He does show on the mid wave.
Yep, they're walking down. They're trying to go for something here. Chai just walking on down here will be spotted. As they all of TSS is safer. Synthwave backing off, maybe giving up Dragon number 2 here. Like I said, it's a Cloud Drake, so they don't necessarily want to have to fight for it.
That's right. And now the calls are going to be cemented here too. As soon as you rotate your Malphite down towards that bot side, that of course gives the onus for Synthwave to be able to net this first brick here. He almost certainly should get this. The TP, wisely so I think from Chai, he actually might prevent this first turret from going down. And that to me seems pretty worth it. I thought for sure it was going to be a cross map there, and I thought for sure that Synthwave was going to be able to net that turret, but being able to prevent that I think is really big.
Yeah, I really think it was dependent on if they had TP up or not, and because I noticed OTF's TP was down, I did not notice that Chai's TP was still up. So that's a turret saved. Now it looks like it's up to Pine to try and take down this bot wave tower because it has been so low. It's been so low for so long.
That's it. It almost seems a little futile here, unfortunately. While you do save the tier 1 top, that's great, but inevitably you are going to lose the tier 1 bot. But ultimately that initial sequence there from CPX comes out ahead, but in the long term, TSS is going to be able to net that first brick. Puts them about to 2k, 1.5k gold lead at this point right now. Tier 1 top still available. Tier 1 mid still available, both with really low HP, so there's a lot of standing gold here for TSS.
Yeah, a lot of standing gold indeed. Ooh, the blood blossoms. Yeah, looks like we might be getting this Ravenous here. Okay.
He almost got the shield down.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, Black Cleaver is trying to put in all the work he can right now.
Yeah, he's working overtime.
He's slicing, hacking through as TSS has already started Herald, got him down to about half. It does look like CPX want to fight here. Chai is positioning down. They're funneling back towards the blue side. Okay, Black Mass is actually going to be a little bit proactive. They still get the Herald. Are they going to be able to capture it as well? Yes, they do. This is the fight. CPX looks like they were starting to try to start themselves, but now it's just Chai running away from the rest of the team. He's a little too beefy for the rest of them to take down. So TSS will get that as the Aphelios grabbing him, says get over here, you ain't going nowhere. Pinaholic gets pounced on.
And that's a really good response at the end from CPX there, because initially it looked really doomed. There's just they were just unfortunately weren't able to get into range to be able to contest that Rift Herald. You had a couple members behind the Rift Herald pit itself, so you can see the problems that really come through when you're not able to group up. But of course, Koopa just burning that flash, and that's that kill on Pinaholic with the Jarvanar, and that secures it. And I think that's really crucial that you're able to at least get something from that. While TSS, of course, nets themselves another tier 1 on that top side.
Okay, cool. Yep. Bot tier 1, top tier 1 down, plus the Herald, which they have not used. You know, they could,
Uh-oh.
This is not what they want to, oh yeah, you're caught. Koopa, I was speaking so highly of you a moment ago. You do have that drain combo. You could potentially stay alive here. Oh man. Nation says, get behind me, Squire. Prevents him from going down. Koopa actually lives through that. That's ridiculous.
It's almost like at the end of a sitcom, you know, like that to be continued freeze frame.
Yeah.
You're like, you expect him to be dead there. Plot arc though, he survives. That Melio comes through pretty clutch there. The heal's gonna have to be burned, both shields, the W from the Melio and the ult. And ultimately it's gonna keep Koopa alive, so the value of that Melio is most certainly there, especially with Koopa being on those 2 items here. Actually neglecting both of these ADCs to go for the boots. Wander, of course, does have the runes to be able to net up the free pair, but nevertheless, boots are not a priority for either of these ADCs. That makes sense, and both of these ADs are really spiking at this point, way ahead of everybody else. Way ahead.
Yeah, this is actually scary. Koopa with the IE plus the collector now. This is that Aphelios item spike where you're like, all right, boys, let's catch somebody.
Yeah, these 2 items is really when these ADCs start to come online. One thing I did miss is actually Pinaholic has his 2 items completed as well, so that's a really huge indicator that TSS is going to want to find these fights when possible here, as soon as those ultimates are available. Really, you're just waiting for the curse of the sad mummy on Amumu. At this point, this next neutral is going to be Dragon here, and TSS, to me, like, the game state makes so much sense for them. It seems like they have a really easy, clear to execute win con, but then I look at the side of CPX and I almost think the same thing too. It's just you need those items. So does CPX blunder a little bit here? I'm almost wondering, is it a blunder? But when it comes down to it, you just have to execute that much better than your enemy when you're at a disadvantage like this.
Yeah. Also something worth noting, I believe. I mean, Nasian opting for the Eclipse here. Does he build, you know, I mean, Eclipse for the shield, right? But like, after this, what are we building here after this? That's the important thing. Because like, yes, you do have the Malphite as, you know, your primary tank source. Is Jarvan going to be the supplementary tank, or is he going to go Bruiser, just a lot of HP plus Eclipse shield? Like, this is one of those things, like, the composition relying so heavily on OTF and Koopa staying in the back line and being able to just free fires. TSS setting up a death brush. ESS are setting up a death brush. Oh my god.
Don't do it.
No, Nation.
Okay.
Oh no! Shy! He's a beefy boy. He can take a lot of hits. He burns a flash. Tether 1 lands. Tether 2 also lands. He's surviving for now.
Gonna live there. Okay, a little scary. Even still though, TS has done such a good job, right? You look at these 4 members, they force that flash out from Chai, they lose mid-prow here. It doesn't seem like they're gonna lose the turret, so they're not punished from CPX, but ultimately Victor, once again, Pinaholic just split pushing here, getting a good amount of damage on that tier 2. He's not gonna net it right now. The ult comes in.
Whoa, this is a wombo combo that one of them wanted, maybe not both of them. Okay, there goes the bullet time out.
Oh,
Chai started that fight. I don't think the rest of CPX were ready, because now TSS are running in and getting all the kills in their favor. A triple going over to Wanderer. That is not what you want.
No, Wanderer got a double kill with his double up right there, actually. He just bounced one from the other, netted both of those kills right there, cleaned up the 3rd one, and now, yeah, the 2 items is soon very much so going to be turning into 3 here. Wanderer is absolutely ahead. This tier 2 is going to go down. OTF could be picked off too.
It's okay. Staying alive just barely. Gonna reflect the big damage. Execute! Yes! Takes 1 down. That's a nice shutdown. At least 4 OTF to grab. I believe this inhib tower should fall here, because the rest, yeah, CPX all spawning now. But man, that was so messy by CPX in that mid lane, and TSS, great job capitalizing.
Yeah, they just committed. And once they committed there, they did such a good job being able to clean up those kills. That Amumu art did end up getting layered with most of that MFR, even though it was really close. It seemed like Jarvan and Koopa on the Aphelios just got absolutely shredded from that. And it just seemed like it was a bit disjointed there. The initial engage from Chai almost kind of came out of nowhere, it seemed like. It seemed like the rest of the team wasn't really ready for it. They tried to posture and then actually be able to come out ahead in that team fight, in that skirmish, but unfortunately they weren't able to. So maybe they're going to be able to net this tier 1 mid here for their troubles. That'll be really nice. At least they're able to break open a little bit of this mid lane here, get a little bit of a deeper vision line. Of course, you can push that mid wave that much farther down that lane now too, which means mid prow is that much more important. So at least CPX is able to get something off of that, but a little bit of disunity there. You could really see it coming to fruition, and a little unfortunate because you need those ultimates to be layered together, and hopefully we can see that once again here from CPX, and things don't falter too much on that front.
Oh, for sure. And now TSS, you have 3 minutes before Chai completes his frozen heart. Then you were in trouble.
True. So true.
It's crazy. Like, TSS is gaining all this ground and getting all these fights, but it does feel like a ticking time bomb, because if they don't get enough damage stacked, in the next few moments, Chai is going to become much more of a problem, and also Nation will have possibly a second item down, I believe. I'm trying to remember what drill all builds into, if he wants to go for Sundered here, or does it build into Sterix, or...
I think he's going Sunder here.
Yeah, so, you know, just extra health on top of that little bit of healing for when he goes and hits the combo. So, like, the wombo's being set up. It's just a matter of hitting that combo button here for CPX, because they messed it up once, and it almost went back for TSS. And now, they could potentially do it here as this 2v1 is about to turn into a 2v2. 2v3? Who's to say? Chai staying alive here for a moment, but Synthwave has the number once again. Now 3 members in Tri-Bunch of CPX. Can they finish this fight? Is there Synthwave diving in? You're eating a lot of bullets from Koopa here. Not able to take him down as a bullet finishes traveling from Wanderer. Actually, to clean him out. They're fighting on 2 fronts, and here it comes. The Black Mass from Wichita trying to clean up the rest of it. Pushing back CPX. They are trying to fight for Otacon. Low health bars blinking for TSS, as Otacon looking to be the 6th man for CPX here. The scramble all across this top side of the map leaves both teams a little bit bleeding.
Yeah, Nation and Chai, they try to find that pick on Pineaholic, but I just don't think they had that flash timer ready. And they did a really good job responding. It was an immediate TP there from Synthwave on that Jace to be able to collapse. Of course, you saw Black Mass on that Amumu do this exact same thing, and before you know it, the numbers for TSS, it was most certainly on their side, so they cleaned it up really nice. And yeah, Pineaholic, that flash on that Jarvan EQ, pretty much guaranteed that fight was going to be won, so crucially done by him there, and really good response by TSS to negate any of that pressure applied from CPX, and that's one more TP down. So as we see, the game starts to slow down a little bit here. You wonder if both teams are going to focus towards that top side and get that real vision control on that Baron, or if we're going to see more priority being put onto this Dragon that comes up in 1:40.
For sure. And now, I mean, okay, Frozen Heart completed, Steel Caps completed, Chai is a very tanky boy, but the Serpent's Fang actually in the pocket of Synthwave. Man, he's going to be
look at this now.
Piercing a lot of that armor that Chai has built up. We've been talking about that could be a good win condition for CPX in these later fights, but it is not the case here. I mean, you're 1-2-0 versus 3-1-3 Jace. This hits pretty hard.
He does. Actually, I really think you got to hand it to Synthwave. He's not going to be able to kill Chai by any means, but he most certainly does damage now. And I think crucially it's because of his build, right? We saw that Black Cleaver rush. That makes sense. And the Black Cleaver, it didn't have a ton of value right out the gate. I mean, you needed it, don't get me wrong, but you didn't see it really have that much of an impact. But by the time that you have your 3 items here, especially with that Fang, that's where you really see it. So now even that matching is going to be hard in OTF.
Oh man, he's caught. Oh, stunned up in a gravity well, done down. Another shutdown gold going over. Pineaholic says thank you very much.
Pineaholic's done such a good job of controlling this top side of the map there, thwarting that initial gank.
Oh
Nation.
No, Nation.
Oh, EQ failed.
Touch went back to his team, and it's not going to be enough. Oh man, that's not where we want to be. 30 seconds before this next Ocean Drake. What is it with TSS and this Ocean Soul? Like, come on.
It's just meant to be.
clearly on their side. Is they're going to take a tower and probably route back immediately to that 700. So much more.
This counter pick in a vacuum makes sense, but Synthwave's just done such a good job of playing around it, and Chai's actually in a lot of trouble here. Has the R and the flash, so should be able to survive.
Does get out, eats a
but
shot
that's
blast.
Not good. That's still not good. You don't want that now. Of course, the ultimate's on a lower cooldown, but the flash is huge. That's a big portion of your engage on CPX here, so that more front-to-back style might be a bit trickier to pull off now without that flash available on that Malphite. Maybe you need that flank from Chai now. Could break up your front line a little bit, how you want to go about team fights, but TSS, that's just a really good heads-up call from them there. They net the tier 2, they get the flash and the ultimate from the Malphite and the Dragon, and now they're swinging up towards topside, and they've just done such a good job of controlling the pace of this game 3 here, and honestly, it's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, they've done such a good job taming the bulls. You know, it's been a little bit of rodeo here. You know, just a little bit of Olay every time, and like TSS looking to right the wrongs as a nation once again. Potentially caught out here. Oh, no, okay, it's Pine that could potentially be caught out, but both will go their separate ways here. But yeah, TSS has done a really good job righting the wrongs of their first game. Oh my god. Koopa's gonna eat a shock blast. Synthwave. What's a push up on that?
Yeah, you can see the vision, not even the vision, but the space The amount of space that TSS can control here is pretty insane, really, when you factor in the Victor and the Jace and the MF and the Zyra. Those 4 members alone can create so much pressure, just force the enemy team away. And as long as they do what they're doing right now and controlling these chokes here, not letting the enemy team getting into the river, I think that's exactly where this team comp's going to accelerate. And this gold lead's definitely starting to bloom at this point. Of course, you are going to see that cross map coming in from OTF. You are going to net that tier 1, but that's a very minimal response here. Good flash from Synthwave. Asian fishing here, almost in range. There it is.
Okay, yep. We'll land it on him. Tries to jump forward. Synthesizer wants something back, or sorry, Synthwave rather wants something back, but TSS actually played Razor's Otacon right before that fight, so he's actually just gonna quick eject back to base here. That's actually insane. They thought they got him. Ooh, the execute! Lasagnas! That was so clean! And now he wants to throw down an ultimate on to OTF. Man, that was insane. The amount of survivability that Pinal does have allows him to get out of that fight. Otherwise, OTF might have had his number in that instance.
Yeah, really good timing there on that Zhonya's here. We could see Chai caught out. Once again, it feels so bad, doesn't it? You have to burn the ult to try to get away, and you're still gonna go down.
You're done. Yeah, the shields. The Milio shield can't save you. Unfortunately, Illicit Raven just has not had any impact this game. Aside from that one save early on, has not really done anything with this Milio. Really crazy how different from, you know, his tank play has been on the Tom Kench and also on the Braum. So yeah, I mean, just CPX looking really frazzled here at this point in the game. 30 minutes in now. TSS needs to just maybe find one more fight to be able to close this out and, you know, get that 2-1 victory here at week 1. They are taking their sweet time with it.
Yeah, that's it. It really does feel like death by 1,000 cuts at this point right now. TSS just slowly but surely whittling you down, taking tier 2 bot, taking tier 2 top. Here the Force comes in here. Nice flash.
Okay, yeah. Witch on Black Mask says he wants to go ahead and end this. Is fight on 2 fronts on top and bottom. It's a 1v1. Koopa thinks he can get it done. Moonlight Visual flash forward and shut down. That's a massive amount of gold going back into the pocket of the AD carry that we expected to just hyper carry through this. It is 30 minutes, and that is a Felios. I've seen that before, I'm not gonna lie. But it's just a matter of can TPX convert that off anything, as they were able to stave off top and hip tower from falling.
They're able to slow down the bleeding. That's huge. That's important. Koopa being able to net that kill. That's huge. That's more cash gold injection here. Of course, you are going to see that extra armor pen coming through with that 3rd item now, the Swifty boots. So that's right, Lord Doms. So Koopa's looking very strong right now. He has an Amelia to be able to back him up. Just CPX, I think you just need to get your group here. You need to get your group on, really. We haven't seen Chai we haven't seen Chai actually move and group around the team here in a while. He's been trying to catch these side lanes, and he's been consistently being picked on, which is not something you usually expect with a Malphite, but nevertheless, it's happening here. Koopa.
The ultimate coming out from Pine is just so scary now. Koopa's down to less than half.
TSS calls the bluff right now from CPX. We just saw that TP coming in from Synthwave topside. Now they're on a timer here. CPX needs to make this decision what they're going to do here. This mid wave's been pushed too, so TSS has priority, and you can see the indecisiveness from CPX right now. They're not sure what they need to do. They sent Chai. It's going to be a little late here. He still has a TP, so at least he's going to be able to match there, but we need them to do something.
Yeah, oh my god, that's so much damage. Sith could just ignore him. Yeah, he's going to ignore Chai and go ahead and take that. 400 in the pocket. Now, I mean, 3 items on the Malphite. You'd think you'd be able to take out Sith here, but no. Hey, what's going on? They've been 2-manning Baron? TSS, hold on. Don't over dip your chip for just a moment. Slow down, as they will peel off the Baron once they see the rest of CPX going. Is up top, up near red side. That is going to be the first kill. Cooper manages to take down 1, goes for his 2nd. That's the shutdown. Bot lane from TSS is down, and they finish this fight. There's a triple. He's fighting on. He's just barely surviving, but no, will finally fall against a oh my god, 4-4 double 4. He does fall, but that's a double from Pine, who's now kiting back from the rest of the squad. I said all it takes is one good Aphelios fight from CPX to get something back for them, and they get so many shutdowns. They get so much gold. They get so much back from that. They're feeling real good.
TSS, the initial play was really clean. You burn that TP for CPX's hand, but by you trying to take the Baron at the same time, you lose a good chunk of HP in the process, and ultimately Koopa is left alone to free hit, and the amount of damage that man does when he has all of those chakrams is absurd. He almost cleaned up everybody, very close to a penta. Very
Yeah.
close. Now he's 5-2 here. Gonna be up in 5 seconds. You can see he's just completed. For the record, he just had his third item. No components for his fourth, and he
Full buy.
now just completed it.
Full buy. That was 3. What? Oh goodness. 3 shutdowns plus another thing of gold, plus drag, plus what? 2 towers? 1 tower? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's honestly, like, the game state now, it's anybody's game. It really does feel like it. I mean, the Baron's still left on the table. It's 35 minutes in. The gold lead, originally it ballooned. It was about 8.5K, I'd say. But at this point right now, the gold lead, while it's 4K, really isn't that big of a deal at all. It really doesn't matter at this point. 4K and a 36 minute game is nothing. So
I know we joked about it earlier, but once again, it is post 30 minutes, and the first Grievous Wounds item has been bought.
it's a little bit better this game because there's not like double Swain, but I agree. Like there's, I agree. I'll be honest.
All right, man.
The Grievous Wounds, it gives you such good value, of course, for the gold.
Yeah.
The only problem with it is of course that gold that you're spending isn't on real stats. It's of course going to be for that passive. So nevertheless, in this game, it's going to be very important. At least you're able to pick it up now. That's good, but it takes time here as both teams are pushing, and even now the Bramblevest is. It's not as it's not as impactful as something like that.
If it was a full thorn mail, then yeah, but like because it's only the Bramble Vest component, it's not near as effective. You're not getting all of the stats. Plus,
you're still relying on auto attacking too, and while you have the Victor, right, so much damage just from abilities. Same deal with Amumu, same deal with Cyrus. So the value's there, it's just not as high, unfortunately here. So Synthwave and Chai just continuing to trade. Jace getting the better of these long trades, surprisingly, but that grasp, you can really see this. And this tank Jace has seemed to really pop off this season. I don't know who ended up finding that this champion was as bust as what he was with grasp, but he's actually doing
an LCK player.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be, right?
Yep.
Look at this, too. Like,
God, Chai's on the run. Oh my god, Chai might die here. Chai might die here. Is he gonna flash? He has to do something. Oh god!
No
Chai's
way.
up on the tower. He's gonna survive this. He's too tanky for it. Oh no, Chai, I understood the vision. I definitely understood it, but it was not in a great application. As now that's the ghost signal, TSS. Snatching back the ball, they said it's my turn now. So they want to take this Baron down as less than half. About at 6K, going to 5 now. Oh man, okay, Nation is there. There are 2 there. Moonlight Vigil catches on the Pinguini. He jumps in the pit, tries to go for the steal. It's to no avail, but the ultimate, he says we still fight through this. Bullet Time goes wild and Bullet Time lands. They're still fighting in that pit. They will get the Baron, TSS. They lose 1, but they get out with everything they actually wanted. CPX, nice try. You had it, a little bit of a fumble.
Yeah, Panguini, the only member going down there at the end of the day, you're still able to net that Baron. So that's Baron off 4 members, but I almost want to highlight about 20-25 seconds prior to that Synthwave and that 1v1 versus Chai. That's actually really scary. That is really scary for CPX because you picked this, and I understand why it's a direct counter pick, but with this new build, with all that armor shred, it's really difficult for Chai to be able to deal with this. And this wasn't something that I was expecting, but now that split, that win con's 100% there for TSS. And you can see Synthwave, he does not want to group. And he's probably not going to group, so we'll see how well TSS can play around this fact here. But you really want to see that Jace, as much as you can, split push now. Because you have so much pressure, especially if you can kill Chai.
Now, at this point in the game, 38 minutes in, it's going to take a Herculean effort from Koopa and Illicit Raven to pull off their bot lane magic like they did 2 games ago. To pull CPX back up to this and finish off this game. Like, Nation just has not really been as impactful on this Jarvan. I mean, OTF has had some good moments, but it's not like his Silas game last game. It is not that impactful. So we're looking at the bot side of the map to try and make some magic happen by CPX, but it's almost looking like an open shut case.
Yeah, we actually see, I think wisely so, OTF burns that TP there, and that's a really good highlight there from our observers. Of course, going down there almost guarantees that the dragon goes down in the process, but yeah, the onus really is on Koopa here to be able to carry this game. At this point right now, you are the main team's win con. You are the only real Fed member here. You're sitting on those 4th items, almost 5 at this point here very soon.
Down.
Look at this, man.
You can literally just walk him down at this point. Chai trying to get away.
This is so sad.
He just burned the ultimate just to get away.
This is double him, at least.
Yep, and Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul will be claimed by TSS once again in this series for the second time. Now they have Baron, they have the Ocean Soul, they have Otacon, they have all the items. They have the wave pushing forward. That's the go button. That is Wichita Black Mask catching onto one. It's LTF managing to take out Penguin before he falls. This is the final call to war, the final call to action. Low health bars. Ocean Soul be damned. That's a double kill for Koopa before he falls. Can the rest of them clean it up? Nation is literally blinking health bar for his life as Chai has to buy time. It's only 2 left for TSS, but it is 2 that matter greatly as they're going to clean it up. Take an inhib, march with this massive minion wave that they do have. Nation doesn't have the damage to clear this wave. Alyssa Raven is playing Milio. What is he going to do to the wave? They could slowly bleed this out should they want to. They're going in. There's the EQ, but there's no follow-up damage. The Nexus is exposed. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. It's a bunch of little stripping daggers in the Nexus to finish it off. CPX cannot hold. TSS will claim this victory 2-1 in a long ruling series, but the Spires get it done.
That is a masterclass from TSS. I guess I'm blurry now. I'm not sure why that is, but it's probably better for the viewers anyways. So yeah, I think they will take this one. But TSS, a masterclass from them. Like I don't know how they managed to pull that off. I feel like that's something that you see from Masters Plus, like almost GM teams. Just the amount of map control that they had, being able to cross map, recognizing those plays, burning the TPs for tempo, just to force the enemy team to make decisions. And then when the enemy team did make decisions, they were pretty decisive, being able to respond to those decisions. So TSS, it just seemed like to me they were the better team here, especially in this game 3 when it mattered most. Because I mean, game 1, game 2, they're completely irrelevant in a best of 3. It's all about that last one. They closed it out very cleanly, so kudos to them and good job.
Man, it was a really good job. They did an amazing job bringing that back. I mean, it was a close series. Like, it really was a close series at the end of all of it. Like, game number 1, first few minutes, feeling each other out, TSS got blasted. Game number 2, better composition, kind of suiting more towards their strengths. They were able to get it done. And like, it was crazy. We're like, whoa, where was this in game number 1? Game number 3, they got a little bit overzealous. They had the game plan. It was working very, very well. Got a little bit ahead of themselves. So there's some room to be worked on there. But it did feel pretty close for, that latter half of the game, right? But CPX did a really good job here. So like, hey, like I said, it's week 1. It's the start of this thing. We just getting started, baby. So don't feel too hard on yourselves with this loss, as there are more weeks to go. But man, that was hot.
That was. And the good news, too, for CPX at the end of the day, like a lot of the mistakes that were made are very easy to fix. It's very simply just a VOD review. And I think if you can identify some of those issues that even you and I highlighted, too, I feel like if they incorporate at least a few of those, I feel like that's a completely different team for them. A lot of their issues, it wasn't even in the lane phase. It just came down to the map decisions, what they decided to do, and really their lane assignments. Having the Malphite, trying to split push and match that Jace for as long as what you did probably isn't the right play. I understand the intent, but the Malphite is there to be able to facilitate the rest of the team, and if you're not able to get those team members to group up and force those fights, then of course what happens there is going to happen. So once again, kudos to both teams. Shattered Spire played exceptionally well. Conduit Phoenix played exceptionally well, but at the end of the day there can only be one winner, so kudos to them.
Kudos to them indeed for taking victory here in week 1 of the Executioners League. We got a lot more to go, a long, long way. And of course, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you so much, League Trolley, once again, being a part of the Aegis ecosystem. We absolutely love y'all and y'all slithery, wonderful candy goodness. But also, once again, shout out to Zen Market, as they are your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. Once again, if you visit our website at Zen Market, as well as, click the panel below the stream or the link, check them out. Use the promo code Aegis for 1,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. So they are partnered with over 10,000 different shops in Japan, a wide plethora of choices to choose from. Again, that is Zen Market for all of your Japanese products, buying directly from Japan, from the source, shipping internationally. That is the code Aegis for 1,000 yen off. But man, that's it for now. For us for now. Same time next week. You gonna be awake though, bro?
Oh yeah. I think so. I'll do my damnedest. I'll do my damnedest.
Hey, maybe I'll be asleep next week. I mean, hey, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Please don't kill me. But
on that note too, Spire, thank you very much for coming in. I always love the Raz, and I think that's great too. And yeah, I mean, it was a pleasure to be able to get here, be able to cast. Last split was awesome, so it's nice that I was able to come back. I'm looking forward to it. I think Crow and I are going to do the damnedest that we can, and I hope everybody else is going to be able to enjoy it. But I got some high hopes for it. I'm sure all the players do too. So we're looking forward to another split here of the AEL, and I think before you know it, we'll be into playoffs. And just like last split, it'll all be done. So enjoy it while you can, and we got a lot of league left to play.
Oh yeah, baby, I got y'all in for 9 more weeks. Put the word up, we back. Aegis Executioners League. But that'll be it for us tonight. See you guys next time. Peace and love, baby.
See you soon.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。